All right.
Sure
My bad, Chill. I grabbed the wrong kicks, Chill. My bad.
Got to run back to the locker room and go back to the car and get kicks. This is what I'm talking about with Ron, baby.
Yeah. Yo, hello, PC Nation. Hello, everybody. It is good to see you guys. I know you guys are happy to be here. We are officially in the dog days of the off season. So we're going to get into a topic that we tend to talk about, but we don't really dive all the way into it. Stars of this era, stars of yesteryear, stars of the Stone Age. Which one of these stars will we like to see play against each other? Let's say that we can combine every single era, everybody at their peaks. Who will we love to see go head to head, toe to toe? I'm gonna kick it off for us, fellas. And this is a matchup that we talk about, but we don't really talk about it too much.
Okay, first of all, you're not kicking off nothing. This dude just gonna walk into practice, Ox, and he ain't gonna say nothing to nobody. We just gonna get right through it. First of all, Ron, where you been? How about that?
Where have I been?
Hey, Ron, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you back. How are things? How is everything? How have you been? How you feeling, Ron? What's going on, brother?
Yeah, Chill. I kind of case, and I've been down for a little bit.
Is that what it is?
And the only person that put a little money on my books, the only person, would you guess who it is?
Ox.
No, Ox wasn't even picking up my phone calls.
Swiper?
No, you would think it would be him, but no.
It wasn't Mars. Definitely not. No,
I didn't even bother calling Mars.
No. You didn't call me, so I didn't even know what was going on. Because if you'd called me, I would have done something.
You always the person you least expect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So who helped you out, Ron?
My dog Ticket. Thank you, Ticket. I appreciate you for coming through with me in my worst time, in my dark days. Thank you, Ticket. I never thought he would have came
for your ass, boy. But were you gonna send us the topic, Ron?
No.
No,
I didn't.
We talking about what? He run that back.
We would love to see these stars match up and play in the same era.
Okay.
Of all time, any all-time players. That includes current players, former players. It could be Grant Hill versus Giannis. It could be anybody, but any star of any time, we would love to see them match up at their peak powers.
I mean, it's very obvious which three I'm going with.
I'm with this today. Yeah, I'm definitely with this today. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, on the thumbnail, I obviously put Bron and Jordan. That's an obvious one. I put Shaq and Jokic. That's one that we've talked about a lot. I put Kobe and Ant. We haven't really talked about that too much. But I really want to get into the nitty gritty. Who's really two players of any era that if they matched up, you would pay top dollar to see?
Bird and KD. I want to see that. I'm standing on it. Bird and yes, sir. Bird and KD. I want to see 85, 86 Bird get it on with KD. Yes, sir. Actually, I don't even want to see peak Bird. I just want to see Bird get it on with KD. That's the one I want to see get it on with, because we get so wrapped up, especially here, and especially when we have these conversations, when we talk about old versus new. The first thing that you do is go to buckets. Like Bird wasn't buckets and could give it to you wherever. He can give it to you on a box. He can give it to you in the mid-range. He can give it to you at the long ball line. He can face you up one-on-one and get to the rim, dunk on you, because he was doing that back in 87. That was absolutely going on. He could give it to you however you want. And I would love to see KD and Bird get it on. Yes.
So what does that look like?
What does it look like?
I agree with John D. I agree with John D.
I don't know what John D said, but
he said
KD's if Ron was a good host, he would have put it along the screen right when I said that. But
to answer your question,
I don't have though. I'm a bad host. First off, we all know that. Second off, I don't have those powers. So
I was asking for too much.
To answer your question, Ron, I think that Bird gets the best of him because I think Bird would have just done so much more than KD had done throughout the course of the game. I think he would have got the best of KD on the glass, as a distributor, as a playmaker, as a team defender. Yeah, I think he would have got the best of KD. I'm not in the minority. I am in the minority, but I haven't been quiet about this. Bird is better than KD. He's a better all-around player than KD, and I still stand on that. And I will die on that hill. He's a better player than KD.
Sure, I don't think that's a hot take.
Yes, it is. Especially for these young dudes in here. They just think I'm saying that just because I'm an older guy. No, I'm not saying that just because I'm
Who
an
are
older
the
guy.
young dudes in here? There's only one young dude in here.
I ain't talking about Mars. I'm talking about the people in the chat. I'm talking about the people who read this stuff, the people who see us. Yes. They think I'm just saying that just off the strength that I'm an older guy. No, because there's plenty of young guys. There's plenty of younger guys or this generation of player who I think James Harden would fry tonight. I think James Harden would destroy Kevin Johnson. Like I think Kevin Johnson, even though Kevin Johnson was giving players hell, like Stockton, I think James Harden would have ate his lunch. Yes, I do think that.
So in the 7-game series, what does KD and Bird look like?
I think you would see more of what you saw with Neek and Bird in Game 7. I think you'd see more of that throughout the course of the series than you would see with anybody else.
What do their teams look like?
Well, if the team's built around KD, so if the team is built around KD, so you got to get KD a distributor, right? You got to get him a distributor. I think you got to get him somebody who stretches the defense. KD is not really
building hypothetical teams around these players.
Well, you just said what does a team? You just said what does a team look like?
Well, I'm wondering if you put them on the Warriors, you put them on the Thunder.
Well, let's just like pretend like because let's choose a team that needs a small forward, like the Cavaliers
or Philly.
Well, I'm saying why not? Right?
What?
Mm-hmm.
So we put them on a
Okay,
team
so who goes?
today.
Oh,
Okay,
Bird,
yeah.
Bird might be able to not embarrass himself against 38-year-old KD. That'll be all right. Yeah.
Yeah, me
I
and Miles
don't
are
Larry
definitely
Bird's embarrassing
at odds with
himself
this.
against any KD.
No, he wouldn't. If
He wouldn't be guarding him. So you're right. Yeah, he'll be guarding some other guy. So, yeah.
if
Like,
Luka could be as dominant as he is, so could Bird.
Luka and Bird play nothing
First of all,
alike.
there's no
But
player in NBA history who's stopping
okay.
KD. Let's just knock that shit out. It ain't happening. It never happened. And it's not going to happen because Larry Bird decides to reinvent a time machine. But that being said, same shit could be said about Larry Bird. I don't remember anyone stopping Larry Bird.
that's because you don't have a great memory.
I do, and I don't
Who
remember
stopped him in
nobody
his
shutting
prime?
Bird down. I don't remember
Dennis
that.
Rodman.
Okay, well, you're talking about a generational defender, and I don't think stop is the
That's
right
fine.
word.
All I said was you had a bad memory. I never said that you weren't talking about great defenders. You had a bad memory, which is fine because you were born in what, 88? So I don't expect you to remember those games because you weren't alive. It's not your
Well,
fault.
I remember him.
Okay.
And I don't think Bird shut him down. I mean, I don't think Dennis Rodman shut him down. I think that the Detroit Pistons style of play is what threw a monkey wrench in what they was doing. Absolutely.
The guy couldn't score on Dennis Rodman, man. It's okay,
That's just not
man.
true. That's not true.
He could have.
That's not true. He's taking Dennis Rodman to the rim. He's dunking on Dennis Rodman. Reverse dunking on Dennis Rodman, as a matter of
Go
fact.
watch the 88 conference finals and tell me if Dennis Rodman stopped Larry Bird. If you're gonna go watch those games,
88.
Yeah, 88. Bird was awesome at 88. He
I
was 30
said
and 10 that year.
prime.
He was 30 and 10 that year.
What?
He was awesome
What?
at 88.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's
Yes,
okay.
he was awesome.
Pen,
He was
Yes,
awesome at
it's
88.
cool.
but I
It's
don't.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. Cool.
No,
Congratulations.
we can stay with 88.
You don't know. Good for you, man. Go watch the 88 conference finals. It's
We
cool.
can stay at 88.
I mean, the low hanging fruit. Go watch the 1981 NBA finals if you want. That was another team that stopped Larry Bird. But it's cool. You know, no one
He
ever
almost
stopped Larry
220 and
Bird.
20 games, but they stopped him. Fuck out of here.
Yes,
Hell no.
yes,
Give me a
yes.
break.
Getting rebounds doesn't
Yeah.
mean you didn't get stopped. So what are we talking about?
Mhm. There we go. So we back to the buckets again. That's what we talking about. That's what we
Yes,
talking about
when
here.
Pe- yeah,
Say
when
my
Penn,
basketball
when
knowledge
Penn
is
says no one stops
diabolical.
Kevin Durant, when we say no one stops Kobe Bryant, when we say no one stops Michael Jordan, when we say no one stops X player, we're talking about their ability to get their game off offensively.
Yeah.
That's what we talk about every time. That's always the context.
When
of the
I'm
discussion.
talking about
When
Larry
we
Bird,
say
I'm
no
talking 83 to
player.
87. You bringing up 88, 89 does
Oh,
not move me at all.
I never brought up 89. I brought up 88, which was definitely another
88.
year of Larry Bird's prime. Because once
Okay,
again,
let's
in 1988, Larry Bird
contextualize
was a
this
top
as
3
peak.
player on the planet. That's what he was. He was a
Okay,
top 3 player on the planet.
Let's
He was,
just so we
that's
have
a
some
fact.
ground rules here. Let's say NBA stars in their peak instead of their prime.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So we're not talking about
I think that's peak
2011 Kobe, and we're not talking about, I don't know, 1998 Michael Jordan. We're talking about like the best version of those players we
For
saw.
reference,
And
I just
88
want to. I want.
Bird
No,
is
I
not
want
the
to
best
make sure.
version.
And I think Bird should have won the league
that's
MVP
fine.
in 88.
I'm gonna.
Like, he wasn't-
I'm gonna PRA everyone just for the sake of just understanding the Larry Bird we're talking about. The most points Larry Bird ever averaged in his career was in 1988. He did
Keep
that
going,
on 50,
Moss.
40, 90 shooting and
Yes,
came
sir.
second in MVP in
Yes, sir.
1988.
I
We
think
are
he
not
should've
about
won the
to
league
act
MVP that
like
year, actually.
1988 wasn't still peak Larry Bird because he got his back
Yeah.
injury the next year. 1988 was the last peak year of Larry Bird. So,
Mhm.
Penn, I would advise you to stop acting like you know what you're talking about when it comes to the years of which Larry Bird was amazing. He averaged 30 in 1988.
Yes,
He
sir.
did that on 53, 41, 92 splits. He did that averaging 9 rebounds and 6 assists. That is peak Larry Bird.
He got busy.
That is one of the best Larry Bird years
You
he ever had.
stat sheet
Chill will tell
nerds
you-
really
No, no, no,
piss
no,
me
no,
off
no,
here.
no,
Like
no,
I
no,
said,
Penn.
Chill
No.
was up here telling you that was peak Larry Bird. He
It was
said that
peak Bird. I think he should have won the league
Yeah.
MVP that year. I do.
Like I said, I'm gonna
85
PRA
versus
you
88.
illustrate
Joe,
it.
who was
Like I
better?
said,
I'm taking
gonna-
88 Bird. I think he should have won the league
Okay,
MVP
so
that
once
year. He
again,
was
you are
fucking
wrong again.
awesome that
But
year.
like I said I was gonna PRA just to illustrate the point. The games are available. You can watch
He was
Larry Bird
fantastic that
1988 season.
He was
That is
great.
one of the best years of his career. He was amazing.
Yes.
Acting like that's not peak Larry Bird for the sake of you trying to get this agenda off is crazy.
No.
Because the funny thing is, in the 1988 playoffs, prior to seeing Detroit, he was still hooping. He was going crazy. It just so happened he then ran into Dennis Rodman and got boxed. That's what happened.
Just so
So
you
like
know,
I
Penn,
said,
that-
I watched Dennis Rodman stop Larry Bird. I watched him stop peak Larry Bird. That's what happened. That's not my opinion. That is a undisputable fact of what happened in 1988. You telling me that's not peak Larry Bird is based on nothing other than you thinking Larry Bird's prime ended before it did. That's it. His prime ended the next
and
year
prime
when
are
he
not the
played
same
6
thing.
games.
He's
His
still
peak
in his
ended in
prime.
88. He
His-
got hurt in 1989 and he was never the same player after that. Larry Bird will tell you that. Chill will tell you that. I will tell you that. The stats will tell you that. Everything will tell you that, except you telling me that
he missed
when
the
that
whole
was the year
season
you
that
were
year. I
born.
think he played like
So the
5
same thing
games
you
that
did
year.
to me when it came to Allen Iverson, when it came to any players in the 2000s, you weren't there. You wouldn't know. Now I am telling you, you weren't there. You wouldn't know. You was born that year. You don't know what Larry Bird was doing. So everyone around at the time will tell you the same thing. The stat
Same
sheet will tell you
logic
the same
applies.
thing.
The
I am telling you the
same
same
logic
thing.
applies to you.
1988 is still Larry Bird's peak. It ended
It
right the
100%
next
was.
season when he got a back injury. That is the timeline of Larry Bird's career. That is what happened. You were wrong. Dennis Rodman stopped peak Larry Bird. That's what happened. Go watch the games. They're online.
My thing is,
Your
once again,
contribution to a box score is a relative measure of the strength of your team. Larry Bird is not a selfish basketball player. Using PRA is peak casual. Honestly, it is peak casual. His
I
teammates
literally said
were
it was
worse.
just illustrating something, but you know, it's cool. Whatever helps you get your
Okay,
game on.
if you were to pick 3 years, the best 3 years of, unless you're going
A
to tell
peak
me this
doesn't
is,
need to be 3 years just because you say it is. Some people have 4-year peaks. Some people have 5-year peaks. LeBron James was in his peak from 09 all the way through to 2014, had a down year in 15, and then went right back to it in 16.
this is
through
not
18.
LeBron James.
That's what happened. I've never said it was
Respectfully,
LeBron
this
James.
ain't
What I'm
LeBron
saying
James.
is people have more than 3-year
Dude,
peaks.
we have
Not-
talked
a
about
peak isn't
peaks
just
on this
designated for
channel
3 years.
multiple times,
Yeah, we
Mars.
like to have multiple year circumstances. That doesn't mean everyone's peak is exactly 3 years. Some people's peak can be 4 years. Some people's peak can be 2 years. Some people's peak can be 5 years. Everyone's peak is a different length because
Correct.
every human being is different. Larry Bird's peak probably started in about 84, maybe 85, ended in 88. That is when Larry Bird's peak started and ended. If you want to say it started a little bit earlier because you were higher on some of the things he did as a power
83
forward,
actually for me,
cool.
Moss. I
Be
think
yeah,
83.
be my guess, and that's fine. That's your
So
prerogative.
5
I
year
would personally
peak.
say Larry Bird's peak started around 85 and ended in 88. I would say he had a 4-year peak. I don't consider 84 to be part of Larry Bird's peak. I think the scoring still left a little bit to be desired, but I can understand people saying 84 is part of Larry Bird's peak. 85 to 88 is my opinion. I would say it's a 4 or 5 year peak, depends on how I feel about 84. That is my opinion. Some people will say 83 like chill, but just saying, oh, well, his best 3 years doesn't include 88 is not proof that it's not part of his peak because everyone's peak is a different length of time. And that's an irrelevant statement to bring up. Shaq's peak, his pure peak, is probably 1 or 2 years. That's probably how long Shaq's pure peak was. 2000, 2001, maybe during the 99 there, depending on how you feel. But by 02, he was clearly not the same guy he was in 01. Clearly wasn't the same guy he was in 2000, despite what he did in the finals. His peak would be shorter. Kobe Bryant, we was up here arguing if his peak started in 03, and some people would say it ended in 2010. Like, that's how long Kobe Bryant's peak was. Some people will say it was 06 to 2010, which is once again 06, 07,
That's
08,
a
09,
time.
2010.
That's not a peak.
That's a
You're
5-year
just conflating terms.
No, I'm
just
not
to cook your
conflating anything.
point.
I'm
I don't
saying
know if
that's
you
what
woke up on the
people
wrong
think.
side of the bed,
Some
but you're
people think
absolutely
Kobe's
wrong.
peak is 5 years.
I don't really
Some people
fucking
think
care,
LeBron's
Bars.
peak is
You're
9 years.
wrong.
I am
Two
absolutely
words.
not wrong.
You're
I am
wrong.
absolutely
How though,
not
Pen?
wrong.
Wait.
There is no way I am wrong for saying people's peaks are different lengths of
Athletically,
time.
he's moving
There's
very
no
different
way.
at the age of 31 than he was at 27. You're not going to
That
convince
doesn't
me.
mean you're
James
not
was the
in
best Hold on, Mars, because
Hell
James was the
no.
best transition player in the game last year. He led the league in transition points. That was
Oh
going
my
on.
God.
And none of us will sit up here and say that LeBron James is still peak LeBron James. So the whole logic of him athletically moving, that doesn't work. No. And
LeBron has regressed massively athletic. Are you crazy?
and interestingly, he's still moving very well. He's still, I mean, did we not just see him run down the lane this season at just fast and dunking on guys
Load
with the weak
managing
hand?
for the rest
That's
of the
going
episode.
on.
Are
That's
you
100%
crazy?
Praise
going
the Lord. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. God is real. So yes, everyone's
Wow.
peaks. Everyone's peaks at different lengths of time. That's not even a hot take. That's not even something worth discussing. Not everyone has the same length peak.
That's
Like,
correct.
I don't even know how that's a take. Is that not just common sense?
Right, but
Is
wait,
it not
but
common
wait,
sense
but
to say
wait.
everyone peaks for different lengths.
Man,
Absolutely,
I hope
absolutely.
there's a
But
old
hold on,
head
y'all,
in the
because
chat
we need
that
to
can
get
absolutely cook
back.
your ass for this.
We
This
need to
is
get back to
egregious.
what we're getting
There's
to.
no cooking
Yes,
that needs
yes,
to be
Larry.
done.
Yes,
Peaks for
Larry
different
Bird.
lengths of time.
Larry Bird was great still in '88, right?
That's not the question.
Okay, but let's stay focused here. We're talking about Kevin Durant and Larry Bird. I personally don't think that Eastern Conference Finals loss against Detroit. Against a hellacious defense and Dennis Rodman, to Larry Bird's standard, yeah, he absolutely got slowed down, but he still played pretty well. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that series we should take that and say that's the reason Larry Bird couldn't get with Kevin Durant. I saw Kevin Durant get swept against the Boston Celtics in 22 when he was absolutely he was disturbed, you know what I'm saying, by that level of defense and physicality as well. So I don't think we should just take that series and make it all about that. We could talk about their attributes and what they both did well and go from there. I mean, if we're talking one-on-one, I think we would all pretty much go with Kevin Durant in a one-on-one setting. I think that's
In a one-on-one setting, yeah.
Yeah, and so, but in a 5-on-5 series, well, I mean, okay, well, maybe not you.
I don't
In a
think KD
in a
frying him. I do think that
5-on-5
Bird-
series, when you got that help defense, when you got other guys distributing the ball to you, Larry Bird was a great catch and shoot guy. They didn't shoot as many threes back in the day, but he had the ability to knock that thing down, as we all know. So I think if we go 5-on-5, I think it's a much better, much more even conversation. So, I mean, let's go from there. Let's not get stuck on that 88 series.
Well, to your point, Ox, I think you're right. And I don't think that we could get stuck on the 88 series considering how they got to the 88 series, back to Mars' point, because that was the same Larry Bird who literally right before going up against Dennis Rodman and the Detroit Pistons, in Game 7, he had 36 on Dominique Wilkins. And I think he had 9 rebounds to propel them to win the Eastern Conference semifinal series in Game 7. It, in fact, became a one-on-one between him and Dominique Wilkins. As the game went on, you could literally see each one of those guys basically just getting out the way, and it was the Bird and Dominique show. You go, you go. That was in Game 7 in 1988. I'll never forget it for as long as I live, because I was sitting right in front of the TV watching these two dudes go at it. So that was peak Bird. With that also being said, I think that we get wrapped up in the one-on-one thing. Yes, I do think that one-on-one, I think KD may be a better one-on-one player. I don't think Larry Bird is a pushover. I think that the stuff that Larry Bird does on the floor overall, as a team defender, as a distributor, who am I? The question that I have to ask, Ron, is am I putting him in today's game? If I'm putting him in today's game and I'm putting him on Philly, with Tyrese Maxey and the young kid BJ Etchcom, with Bird at the 3. And I think he can outplay Kevin Durant. Not
Let's put Bird at the 4, Chill, and let Jaylen Brown play that 3.
so we got to stretch 4 in Bird. I love it. Yes, sir. The way he eat glass, yes. I got to stretch 4 in Bird. And the way he clean glass, I love it. And the way he could stretch the defense, I'm looking at Al Horford. I'm looking at a combination of Al Horford and Chris Bosh, and it's a bunch of different guys that this is going on with. Yes. If Bird is playing in today's game. Yes, sir. Now, I don't want him to go up against 38-year-old, 37-year-old Kevin Durant. No, I don't want him to do that. No. To your point, Ron, these NBA stars in the same era. So I want to see 88 Bird against 17 KD or 14 or 15 KD. Even though KD got hurt, I'm imagining that he's healthy. That's what I'm thinking. Or 16 KD. I would love to see that because that's year 9 KD. I think that's prime. I think that's prime Kevin Durant. I would love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be fire.
I think it would be too. Absolutely. I think it would be great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chill, though. I'm on your side. Surprise, newsflash. Burgess, he do a little too much. He impacts the game more than KD does all around.
I would love to see Kyrie Irving going up against Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas would actually be, and he have a huge problem dealing with prime Kyrie Irving with that ball handling. And that just especially when he was running with James, when James would basically just. Do you guys remember the 2016 NBA championship when James was just giving the ball to Kyrie Irving and getting out the way and just letting him work? Especially when he had Curry on him, just getting out the way. Like that's what it would be. It would be, and Isaiah Thomas was not a bad defender. I don't think Isaiah Thomas sucked as a defender. And I think that we get wrapped up a lot of times in if you're not an all-league defender, you're a garbage defender. That's just not true. That's just not true at all. But I think that Isaiah Thomas would have had his hands full dealing with Kyrie Irving. He definitely had his hands full dealing with him. So we're talking about the best ball handler of his generation against the best ball handler of his generation. I think Isaiah is a better floor leader, but I also think that Kyrie Irving, more of a score-oriented guard, because I think Isaiah could score, but Kyrie Irving could do it in a multitude of ways, and I think Isaiah Thomas would just have a hell of a time trying to keep him in front of him because Mark Price would give Isaiah ass the business. So I can only imagine what he have to deal with dealing with Kyrie Irving.
Guys, well,
Actually, I'm curious in this situation, man. You just sass your ass off the stage, bro. Like honestly, I don't really have time for this shit, Mars. Like you trying to act like Larry Bird is some bum because he had one bad series allegedly in his prime.
I'm the one being sassy.
You are being sassy.
Them bringing up some shit that's already passed to try to get your game off. We moved on. You just brought up some old shit. I'm the sassy one.
What did he lie about? What did he lie about, Penn?
Mars, that case.
How many times we gonna have a disagreement? We gonna chill in silence. We gonna move on, and then they gonna be like, "Oh yeah, let's bring this shit back up." You the sassy one right now, not me.
You brought up Cade being not an MVP for 5 straight episodes. What are you doing here?
I was asking Ox for his opinion. Like that's it. I moved on. I already forgot about you. I'm not care. I know I was right. You can think I was wrong. Cool.
You're
we can agree to
absolutely
disagree.
wrong.
That's
but
fine.
anyway.
Cool.
Penn, why is he? Wait, Moss.
No. So we can move on. You know what? I thought on it. You're right. Most people's peaks are about 3 years. Some people do decline. I was wrong. My bad. I spoke out of turn. I apologize, chat. You know what, Penn? I concede. I was wrong. I absolutely was wrong. So, Ox, you said Kerry Kittles and James Harden?
Kerry Kittles and James
There's not
Harden.
sassy.
Hold up, y'all, because I got
washing him.
I got a $50 super chat. We'll circle back around to that. But my man Worldwide Mace Television has chimed in. He's entered the chat. He sent through $50, and he has a matchup. The Clash of the Titans, the Greek Freak versus the Big Ticket. Gimme Ticket. What y'all think? Kevin Garnett versus Giannis Antetokounmpo.
This is a matchup I really actually love to see though.
Love this.
I would love that. I think Giannis you know, a little bigger. You know what I'm saying? A little more getting downhill, but I think KG can handle that, right?
He had to deal with Malone, so I think he can handle Greek
Right.
Freak. Yeah.
Right, like KG's
What?
deep.
Yes.
They're different people.
No.
But
in terms of physicality, that's what
But
I'm
it's a
thinking about.
different physicality.
Right.
Malone was more of a face-up, bump you physicality. Giannis is more of a, you know, physicality.
Yeah, but
Also,
so but
old man
KG
Malone.
KG's picking that up, you know, outside of the paint. Like a dude like Giannis, you're not waiting to receive that contact in the middle of the paint. You know what I'm saying? That's a dude KG. And KG, one of the smarter, you know, better, more physical defenders. You know, he's realizing that. You know what I'm saying? So he's picking that dude up, you know, way before he gets into the paint, below the 3-point line. And the other thing is, one thing I do not like about today and the internet and even this platform is that y'all are so sleep on Kevin Garnett's offensive capabilities.
He's his facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be so tired of the acting like Kevin Garnett wasn't an elite offensive player. It's crazy to me. So
He was definitely a bucket getter. Let's be clear about that.
KG guards Giannis way better than Giannis guards KG.
The question
Giannis isn't guarding KG. He's
Yeah, but
guarding
in
whoever
this
KG's
situation,
teammate.
he is though, Morris.
Why
But
wouldn't he
it's the
guard?
issue. You're picking a bunch of people who's not going to take the matchup.
Why wouldn't
I
Giannis
have a
take the matchup
genuine
with KG?
question about
Mars?
what
Because
era
Giannis
of
ain't
rules are
Roma.
we
That's what he's
playing by
going to do.
here?
Giannis is going to guard KG's center, whoever that bum is, and then roam around.
Probably
That's
Felton
what he's going to
Spencer.
do. Yeah,
Oh,
like,
God.
that's what Giannis is going to do on defense. Same thing with Larry Bird. Larry Bird is going to guard Andre
Andy
Roberson or something.
Roberts, some shit like
And
that.
like, that's what he's going to do. Like, they're not going to put these guys on the primary. It's like, now Kawhi versus X player. Sure, Kawhi will take that assignment. But KG, Giannis is, when does Giannis take assignments?
Larry Bird is going to be
Can we
on
have- can we
Andre
have a-
Roberson.
can we
You
have a
said
little
that with
fun?
a straight face?
Or some. That's what I said. Or some. Yeah.
So Larry Bird's a bad defender. I just want to clarify that you're saying that.
No, that's not what he said, Penn. No, that's not what he said at all.
I don't
Take a
want to be
deep breath,
sassy,
Mark.
but I'm gonna just go back to what Ox was saying.
No.
Yeah. So Giannis is
I
not
don't-
gonna guard KG, and that's not a
Yeah,
knock on Giannis.
But in
It's
this
more just his role in
hypothetical, they're gonna guard each other.
But here's the question, Mars. I think that here's
mean,
the question,
why?
Mars.
I guess.
I think Mars, you wrapped up in the schemes today. Like KG.
Is that not the era we're putting them in?
Oh, 100%.
If we're moving them to different eras,
No. Again, we're talking about this. We're talking about NBA stars in the same era. So it's 2026, and that's what we're doing. We're taking 2001 to 2005 KG, and we bringing him to the 2020s. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing, and we're taking him, and he's going up against 2018 to 2022 Giannis. I think KG is going to take that assignment. And Mars, you've said to me,
I agree. I think KG would take the assignment.
100%. But
Giannis would not.
I was about to say this, Mars, because you've literally said to me that the game today in July of 26 is not the same as it was in July in 2020. The game has changed, and I think Giannis was. I think Giannis was more of an individual one-on-one matchup guy than he is today, because I think schemes have changed. Because I do think that the game is a little bit more wide open, and bigger guys do more things today than they did back then. Which means that Giannis having to guard on the perimeter or even having to rim protect, I think that would be less likely, considering a guy like KG with his ability to stretch the floor. I would have to deal with him because we can't put Bobby Portis on KG. He's going to destroy him. No, that's not going to work, Mars.
You're
Hell
right.
no.
You're right.
No.
He might. Yeah.
He can't do that. So Giannis is going to have
right.
to take that assignment because KG is going to destroy him if he's covering him. So I just think that in today's game it's a little bit different.
That's fair. Okay.
I'm also curious what era and what rules we're playing with. What style of game are we playing? Like, are we bringing Kevin Garnett into Giannis's era? Or are we bringing Giannis back into KG's cramped floor situation, less spacing, less three-point shooting, etc.? And I think that also applies to the rules that we're playing with. Are we playing Bird era rules, where I get to be very physical, very handsy with you? Or do we play, the more free-flowing Kevin Durant rules? Because I think that changes things a lot.
Like, well, how does it change things, Ping?
They should meet in the middle. That'll make it fair. So if you got 86 Bird and 16 KD, meet in the middle, 2001. Then you both go back all forward 15 years. KG and Giannis, what's that about? 04 to 22, 18-year difference. 2013. There you go.
I think playing with less spacing is to certain people's advantages, and obviously playing with more spacing is to other people's advantages. So yeah, and I think more physicality is to someone else's advantages too. So yeah, I think it would be better to just play in an era. I mean, you could say split the middle, but I mean, okay, cool. So now we got the 86 Celtics and the 15 OKC Thunder going into year 2000. Okay. Sure, we can do that.
It's the best way to take out the advantages that come from each era, I think. It's not perfect because some
But it's
eras
also
are
now
more
playing
physical,
two
but
hypotheticals instead of just one.
yes. I mean, hypothetical section.
That's what we doing. That's what we doing right now. And so we're meeting in the middle.
Look at me like that. You the one who made up the topic, Ron. I'm just
So
enjoying
we can't even hear you wrong. But we're meeting in the middle with KG and Giannis. So where in the middle are we meeting, Penn? So I'm clear.
So what do you define as peak KG 2004?
I think
And peak Giannis 2020-ish, 2021. Okay, so split the middle. Hypothetically, like I don't know, go 2011, 2012, somewhere around there.
I like them both in today's era. Like, I think today's era actually makes KG better. And Giannis is obviously, he's amazing in this era. I think this is a perfectly fine era to see both of these guys with the floor spaced out. Both of these guys get to, be at their peak powers on defense, switchability, rim protection, running in transition. KG will be able to handle the ball more. I think 2004 is cool for KG. Early 2000s is cool. That was the power forward era, if you will. Yep. But today, KG's really, I don't want to say a point forward, but he's handling the ball a whole lot more. We really get to see what big ticket can do. We get to see him pushing a fast break. He's still going to hit that mid.
Going with it, Ron?
Oh, what?
He's getting it off the glass and going with it?
If Wemby and Jokic are doing it, and this isn't a knock or slight to Wemby or Jokic, I'm just saying if they're doing it, Kevin Garnett's absolutely doing it. We get to see Kevin Garnett coming off a pick and roll. And obviously, we're going to see him setting the screen too. We get to see him spacing the floor out and shooting more threes. Like it would be face-up game would be crazy. I would like to see KG play Giannis right here, right now in this era. As a matter of fact, drop KG on the Wolves.
We have
they need a four, Ron. That's exactly what they need too. They need a four-man.
That'd be insane.
That is exactly what is missing from them. They need a four-man. You drop him on that. You drop him with Rudy Gobert. They're the NBA champs.
We have moved towards more court coverage for most players, right? So we are asking bigger players to do more small things. We're asking sometimes smaller players to do more big things. Yeah. And I think that there's players in past eras who had a very broad court coverage, which is to say, defensively, they could switch and they could block. They could protect the rim a little bit. They could switch out to the corners. They had a lot of court coverage, like guys like Scottie Pippen, for instance. Kevin Garnett is another one. And then on offense, they had the range to pull it to three, but maybe because of the era and because of how we were playing basketball back then, they were more consolidated to like one play type, like, oh, you're a post-up big. So I was actually thinking about this yesterday, is which players in previous eras, especially what we're talking about right now, bringing up to modern eras, would most benefit from the expanded court and the expanded freedom of positionless basketball. I think Kevin Garnett might be, occasionally a pick and roll ball handler. I think he would rack up a lot more assists. I think he would probably shoot some threes. I think that would be very interesting. A player that I think would actually struggle is Karl Malone, personally.
And why would Malone struggle?
Because I don't think his offensive game was as versatile as some of the other bigs in that era that are great. Like a Barkley, like I could really see a Charles Barkley like ripping through the open court and ball handling and creating off the dribble and being more wing-like. And it's the same thing with Kevin Garnett, Rasheed Wallace, like even Tim Duncan. Whereas with Malone, like I don't know. Like it just.
But do I? But and I think that's fair, Penn. But do I need that stuff? And the reason why I'm asking, do I need that stuff, is because the other stuff that I do, I'm just
the
so
law
good
of
at.
diminishing returns, Joe.
Sure.
So like when we measure two players against each other, we often rank like their production and their efficiency. We'll say this guy's 20 and 10, this guy's 17 and 7. So guy who's 20 and 10 is better. But I disagree, because when I look at scoring versatility, I see guys like basically the entire New York Knicks roster. So the question that I would ask, and this is something I was working on yesterday as a thesis on like Vision 4700 basketball, is where do you not worry about Karl-Anthony Towns? What place on the court, what play type are you not worried? Are you not worried about him as a driver? Of course you are. Are you not worried about him as a shooter on the block? Of course you are. Are you worried about him in the post? Of course you are. You're worried about him everywhere.
Sure.
And so the way that he, draws attention in every play type, even as a pick and roll ball handler or even as a screener, like he is very good at everything.
I'm not going
on the basketball court.
Sure.
But there are certain players that just aren't.
But,
and so him averaging 17 to me is way more valuable than Clint Capella averaging 22.
Getting lobs from James Harden. Okay, but with that being said, Penn, like we had this conversation not too long ago. I think that the stuff that I do in the modern game today is so good that the other stuff, like getting the ball off the glass and going with it, self-creation and transition, I don't really think that I need that as much. And the reason why I don't need that as much is because I'm better than most of you guys, if not 99% of you guys, in pick and pop and pick and dive. I'm probably one of the better pick and pop, pick and dive guys in today's game. I'm one of the better mid-range jump shooters in the game today. If I'm playing the four, I'm one of the best transition players, not with the basketball, but just filling lanes and just rim running. So if I'm running with a guy, if I'm running with the distributor like LaMelo Ball, if I'm running with a distributor like Trae Young, I think he's going to maximize me, as opposed to running with a guard who looks to shoot the basketball all the time. If I'm running with Tyrese Halliburton is going to maximize Malone. Tyrese Halliburton is going to get the most out of Malone, especially being a pick and pop and pick and dive four-man. On top of that, my ability to rebound, I think that it I think that it can 86 that other stuff in terms of me getting the ball off the glass or that self-creation on the wing. I don't think I have to do that, because I think that in terms of offense, if I'm running with a guard like one of those guys, I think that I could just be so much better. It's almost like being able to do this one thing like Jabbar does, and you can't stop it. I don't really need the other stuff.
But chill though, for Karl Malone, I think Penn brings up an interesting point, because we've only seen Karl Malone with John Stockton.
Sure.
What does Karl Malone look like without an elite distributor? Somebody that's always looking to get his game off. Like what does he look like on a team where it's like, bro, every night you got to get it out the mud?
I'm gonna make a crazy take. I think Larry Bird gets a lot better in the modern era, not worse.
Awesome today. Awesome.
I think that goes without saying.
Yes, I think he's awesome today. But to your point, Ron, like the whole getting it out the mud thing, I mean, I think this is the most pick and roll, pick and dive heavy league that I've seen in my lifetime. Like the pick and roll,
that's true.
And the pick and roll and the pick and dive, when Malone and Stockton was doing it in 88 or in 90, other teams were adapting to it. Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars had to show Chuck Daly how it worked, because they weren't versed on how to pick and dive work, how to pick and roll work. Like, when do you come off the screen? When do you pop? How do you slip? And Malone, because the area because we got so much space, especially in the middle of the lane, how good Malone is in one screening, and what screening does, and Penn is well aware of this because he watches the game. What screening does, that sets up the slip. And Malone was one of the best slip screeners that I have ever seen. And if you can get a guy who I'm running with who can distribute the basketball like that, I mean, I think that just makes him so much better. So the idea, Ron, of getting it out the mud, I don't think that's necessary for a guy like Malone, because he would play in a pick and roll system because of his skill set.
Without being too controversial, in the modern day with social media, he would not be playing in the NBA.
No, he would not.
Let's start there. Secondly, honestly, I think, and again, I'll harp back to what I said before. The number of things you can do in one bucket, the number of things you really can't do in another bucket, I think what you can't do is more important today than it's ever been before. So if you play 5-on-5, right?
Correct.
When all of us played 5-on-5, we usually had a place on the court that we almost always ended up. I, for one, ended up at above the break and in the corners because I was a shooter. I had teammates who almost always found themselves on the left block or the right block. That's a dominant zone. That's where your skill set lends itself. But what about the player that doesn't really have a dominant zone? And that's where I say, like, there's your GOAT debate, right? Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, right? In terms of like all-time wings, you could obviously throw Kevin Garnett in there. Kevin Durant in there. You could throw D Wade in there. These are not players that you have like oh, he's in the corner, let me ignore it. Oh, he's off the ball, let me just chill. No, there's no. It's like a relentless heart attack when them being on the court. Steph Curry as well. So this type of scoring gravity, I think, all over the court, I think creates massive problems for the defense, which creates wide pockets of space for teammates. I don't think Karl Malone is in that same conversation, personally.
I just think that we
I could be too low on him. I don't know.
I think you are, Penn, especially considering like what the league is today. Like the majority of teams, that is what their offense is constructed around. It's the pick and roll, it's the pick and dive. And one of the biggest knocks that I've heard and I've seen also with Giannis isn't a very good screener. Wemby isn't a very good screener. So
Sure.
I think that these guys' offense would open up even more if they did. Like Wemby uses his hands a lot to screen. Malone used his body a lot to screen. And when he uses his body a lot to screen, that helps as a big guy. That helps get that smaller guy off of him. And it also gives him room to operate, whether it's in the mid post, whether it's in the mid range, or even dive into the basket. And his 250 pounds just look different than the 250 pounds that I see today, because he was creating so much space when he got to the rim, whether it was laying the ball up, whether it was stopping right at the mid range, whether it was stopping right at the mid post. And on top of that, I think he was much more effective today as a defender. And the reason why I say that is because Malone could defend in a number of different ways. That's not to say that he would be a better defender than whomever he's going up against. But I think that he could defend in a number of different ways because we don't give Malone nearly enough credit for the.
But doesn't his
athlete that he
defensive
was.
utility go down in this era where we're banging a little bit less on the block and his post defense is a little less relevant and we're having more switching situations? We're having to have him move his feet 25 feet in the basket, recover back to the rim, block shots, which he really wasn't known for very much. I mean, I think some of his defensive utility goes down. I think some of his offensive utility goes down. I think Karl Malone played an exact era that he was supposed to.
Absolutely. But I also think that his game translates to your point, Penn, because I also think
I'm not saying he's useless in this era. Just to be clear, I don't think he's useless. I just don't think he gets the same boost that guys like Dirk, that guys like KG, that guys like Charles Barkley get going into this era. So if we consider the boost like a percentage boost, then I would say KG gets like a 25% boost moving into a more space era because he's a good playmaker. He has a great shooting touch, and I think wider angles help him out to probably the higher pace is going to put him in crazy number conversations. Like, I don't know, like consider today's modern pace and space, more threes, more possessions, more assists, more rebounds. Is it crazy to assume that Kevin Garnett couldn't have like a 32, 15, and 8 season? It's totally within the realm of possibility based on how much more we run the offense through the post or like through. He could totally do it. He's like one of those rare athletes who actually could. He could push the break. And again, it's just like we had such an archaic coaching system back then where, oh, you got to go find Terrell Brandon. But no, bro, like push it. Push the break. 7-foot KG pushing down the middle. You telling me Giannis can do it, but KG can't do it? Of course KG can do it. He's a very fluid athlete.
Absolutely.
So I'm just saying, like this benefit that we give the modern era, so that Mars Talk Sports can come up here and talk about how Kevin Durant is clearing Larry Bird. I just disagree. I think this big playmaker archetype benefits the most from this era because of how much we allow those players to play with the basketball.
With that being said, though, I'm also thinking about how much. Like Malone, for example, I'm also thinking about how polarizing he was as a post player and how, like we talk about Shaq and how Shaq
was just a playmaker in those situations.
Oh, he was great. Absolutely. Like he was, in fact, if you think about how we talk about the delay cut, that was Stockton and Malone, where Stockton Malone would find Stockton, or he'd find Hornacek, or he'd find Brian Russell diving to the basket on a delay cut where he cut to the basket and the defense would turn their head, but Brian Russell's still looking for the ball and Malone would hit him. Like stuff like that. I think that's extremely important. And when I'm doing that, now what that does is I think that sinks the defense, which would make Malone even a more effective passer on the box, because now I'm looking at this guy at the long ball line across the floor. He's wide open because I gotta concern myself with Malone dropping the ball off to, I don't know, Kyle Kuzma on a delay cut and getting a layup. And if that's consistently happening, the defense is definitely going to drop. But I think that he's so polarizing in terms of his box play, where like you can't miss him when he's burying a guy underneath the basket, or he's burying us. And when he, to your point about mismatch hunting, where he's burying a guy on the box where you got to get him the basketball. Well, if you got to get him the basketball and he's effective, well, now that's changing offenses, right? So I think that a player like that playing in today's game with his mid-range, with the way he finishes in transition, I'm trying to imagine him running with Luka. Holy shit. Like how awesome he would be running with Luka. Like he'd be incredible running with Trae Young or Tyrese Halliburton or somebody like that. Like these are the guys that I'm thinking about. And I'm thinking about him going up against one of the better power forwards in the game today. Like I think he'd be able to hold his own. Yes.
All right, fellas, I'm going to jump into the next matchup, and I'm going to do it by way of a super chat.
Yep.
Let me go ahead and find a good one. Because a lot of these, they talking about KD versus Bird and responding to that and whatnot. And Peyton, also, like, I know you trying to go at Mars right now, but 4 out of us picked KD or picked Bird over KD. So, like,
yeah, I don't like how dismissive he was of that matchup. And I don't like the cherry picking of 88 because personally, to me, again, I'm not saying I existed through it. I definitely did not. It's before my birth, or it's right around when I was born. But I've watched enough Larry Bird through the 80s to tell you that there's a discernible difference between 84, 85, 86, and 88. I think there was a fall off. It wasn't a huge fall off because the numbers stayed high because his teammates got worse. But I think there was a definitive fall off here. And to use Larry Bird's worst series in a 5-year stretch.
Yeah, that part was nasty. Just
to get off your nasty ass,
series,
like, oh, I seen him get locked down. You don't have good memory. Shut up, man. Sorry, that's just fucking annoying.
But I mean,
it's disingenuous. That's the point, because there's people in this chat who've probably watched 12 Larry Bird highlights, and they're gonna walk away thinking Larry Bird is washed. And I'm just saying, like, that's just so disingenuously wrong, bro. Like, there's some people that try to put him out of the top 10, and it's so stupid. Like, genuinely stupid. This era lends itself to a big playmaker who can shoot, dribble, pass, and create the way he can. At 6'8", 6'9", are we crazy here? Larry Bird would be MVP in today's NBA.
Yeah, he was 6'9",
6'9", 6'10", like whatever the hell you seen Luka do, Larry's better. Larry's better.
The reason why I brought up Luka is because Larry Bird's athleticism, and we talk about how athletic the league is today. Larry Bird would have such a difficult time because he isn't athletic. Meanwhile, we got a dude that's averaging 34 a game, and he run like he got a piano on his back, and that's Luka, right? We also got another dude that's got the dad bod and Joker, but he's arguably the best player in the game. And Joker is not a ridiculous athlete.
This game lends itself more than ever to players who think the game. And Magic Johnson, I'm not disrespecting Mars or Real Talk, but they have this like thing about the past generation, which I think is really just, I mean, it doesn't apply to everybody. Yeah, there's sure. Damn, there are players that played in the 80s that could not hang in today's NBA. I'm not denying that. There's probably 200 players in every single year that would not even come close to making the NBA today. But when you're talking about those stars, like the Moses Malones, the Michael Jordans, like those dudes, man, with the Barkleys, the Birds, the Magics, jeez, man, like those are still stars in today's NBA. Like those are still stars. I'm sitting here saying I don't give Karl Malone an era boost, but he's still a star in today's NBA. He's still find a way to get 20 and 10. He's still a physically imposing presence on the court. He's still a very intelligent basketball player who finds angles. In fact, I think today's modern NBA, modern power forward is probably less equipped to deal with him on the block than, his generation was. So again, like, I mean, there's an adaptability here, but I just think that it's kind of crazy the way people get off this like whole like Magic Johnson wouldn't be so great. Just like I didn't just watch Tyrese Halliburton carry his team to the finals, being like a really watered down Magic Johnson.
Extremely watered down.
Crazy.
But I don't know. In that Bird and KD matchup too, everybody runs to, and what we're gonna get to all these super chats because I've seen them. All the super chats are saying is, oh, KD would fry Bird. KD would fry Bird. Bird can't guard KD. And it's like one of two things. One, Bird probably isn't going to guard KD the same way that KD's probably not going to guard Bird. You're probably going to send another better defender to go guard the best offensive player on the other team. More than likely. And if they did match up against each other, my second point is, all right, KD going to give Bird some work. Cool, we can all agree with that. But what's happening on the other end? Because I promise you, everything that KD gives him, Bird is turning right back around and giving KD that same treatment, just in a different way.
Apparently not, Ron. The reason why not, Ron, is because Bird, he's slow, he doesn't jump high, he doesn't have the ridiculous handle, he ain't really that nice with the pill, he ain't got the tween like KD has, he doesn't shoot the long ball from 30 feet like KD or anybody like that. So he's really not giving it to he's really not giving KD the work KD giving him.
Bird taking KD to that block and doing whatever he wants. KD gonna be a popcorn machine. Pump fakes, jab steps, turnarounds, bully ball, whatever you want.
I get modern medicine, modern recovery.
He don't need none of that. He don't need none of that.
Like, why are we acting? Okay, first of all, like every
bring back Bird with the Converse.
Every all-time great that we thinking about, from Bill Russell all the way down, all these guys had like very special brains for the game, which means great spatial awareness. These are intellectual gifts as much as they are physical gifts. You take it, you hyperspeed this shit up into the 21st century with modern training, recovery, all the things that we now have with extending careers. How do these players not get better? Like, why do people act like, I don't know, like, okay, I'm not talking like the 50s and shit, but like when the game started to progress in the 60s, 70s, 80s, like why are we acting like Wilt Chamberlain wouldn't be the most athletic big in the league today? Why are we acting like he wouldn't be averaging like, I don't know, 23 rebounds in today's NBA? He absolutely would.
But I just think that we live in such a space that, because of what was going on in the past, that stuff doesn't really matter. It's what. But
why do people do that, Show?
The reason why is because the same reason why, like where we are today, like Windows 99 is not the same as your computer program today. Like, and I'm 100% confident that whoever made Windows 99, if you took them and brought them into 2026, they would update Windows 99. They 100% would make Windows 99 better if you gave them the opportunity to do that. But they don't want to do that. They want to take the program from they want to take the program from 1989. They want to take the program from 1995 and just leave it right there and then bring that into this era. Well, that really doesn't compare. But if you want me, who let's say for the sake of argument that I invented the Windows operating system. Well, if I see the Windows operating system 30 years later, if you give me the information 30 years later, I can take that information and utilize that with the Windows 99 that I made. But they just want to keep that. They just want to keep that information here and say, this is the best ever. Well, it's the best ever because I don't have the information that you have. That doesn't mean that I can't do that.
I find it kind of funny that there was no Windows 99. Was there? It was Windows 98 and then there was 99? What the hell? It was 98 and then Windows ME.
Windows 99 is what I meant to say. Not
98.
98 was what I meant to say. I'm sorry.
Dope. Mm-hmm. Also, I need a loan, Show. You invented Windows? I need a loan.
I did not invent Windows. I'm not that smart. Mm-mm.
Damn.
No, sir. Mm-mm. I'm not. Mm-mm. I just can't handle
host.
Yeah, your mic. The reason why I have such a problem talking to Drago, because Drago, I can't wait until 30 years from now because your stupid ass does not. Your stupid ass has no respect for the game of basketball. All you care about is what's going on in your era. And that shit is terrible. That's why I don't respect you as a basketball mind. I don't. I do not respect you as a basketball mind. All you care about is bashing what was going on years ago. That shit sucks to me. I have no respect for you. I have no respect for what you talk about when you talk about basketball. Because if you can't respect what was happening during this time and accept the fact that it's gonna get better, like you basically just want to take. Like I've never heard anybody say Isaiah Thomas was this, Isaiah Thomas was that. Imagine 20 years from now, somebody saying to you, when you were here and you saw in real time, yo, SGA was so whack, SGA is so overrated. I promise you, you're going to want to choke the shit out of him because they have no respect for him at all. They have no respect for what he did as a basketball player. You have no respect for what Isaiah Thomas did. You have no respect for what Chamberlain did. You have no respect for what any of these dudes have done. And that shit boils my blood with you. That's why I can't talk basketball with you, because you have no respect for what happened before you. You think basketball started with you, and it didn't start with you. It did not, and it's not going to end with you neither. That's why that shit burns me with him.
Yeah. There's so many biases at play that make people believe that their era of sports is better than previous eras, right? And obviously there's a wishful thinking bias as well, right? I mean, chill. If you could choose your life, of course you would choose to live at the same time when your prime coincides with the GOAT's time,
Of course.
right? But that's also why, like, a lot of people, when Michael Jordan was being called the GOAT in '98, like, people were like, but he's not better than Oscar Robertson, but he's not better than Dr. J, but he's not better than Bill Russell. And it's the same thing that people, today are doing with LeBron, and people are like, no, it's Michael, it's Wilt, it's so-and-so. So I'm just saying, like, there's this natural thought process that people have of like, of course my era is better. It came after your era, but that's not always the case.
It's not. And even if that's true, let's just say for the sake of argument that that's true, Penn. Like your era is better than what was going on. But the complete disrespect for what my people did or what people did before you started watching basketball, that's the issue that I have. Like, get these dudes out of here. That's the biggest problem that I have more than anything. This dude would destroy this dude, not really recognizing that. I mean, Bird had a I want to say Bird had a 5 or 6 year stretch where he was 27, 10, and 6. In that era, in the big man era, he was 27, 10, and 6. That means on a Tuesday, Ron, pencil me in for 27, 10, and 6. That means on a good night, I can give you 35 and 15 on a good night. And on a night when I ain't missing, I'm good for 60. I'm good for 55, 60. And what I try to do as an older dude, I try to understand the game from today's perspective. Like, I watch these young guys, and I see these young guys' game translating from in the past. Be honest with you, Penn, I think KD would have destroyed the 80s. I'd be listening to dudes like Charles Oakley. Yo, Giannis would have ate Charles Oakley lunch. I promise you. Giannis would have destroyed Charles Oakley. He wouldn't have been able to do nothing with Giannis, period. So I say that to say I respect what these dudes do. Like, KD would have fried the 80s. Like, I'm trying to imagine Alex English trying to deal with KD. KD would have destroyed him. He wouldn't have been able to do anything with him. But I recognize what these guys are, but I also don't disrespect what these guys are today. I try not to.
There's I think I popularized on this platform intellectual curiosity. I think I'm probably like, I hear that referenced a lot. Intellectual curiosity. I'm gonna introduce something else. Chronological snobbery. And this is from C.S. Lewis, but it's called chronological snobbery, which is to say that people assume that because it came later, it is obviously better. Chronological snobbery.
Chronological snobbery.
All right, y'all. That's another word. Bookmark it. Get used to it. Well, Penn, you're gonna use that frequently, or is that just?
I might. I'm just working out my PC, fashion line at some point. When we eventually blow up, and people are like, you know what? I don't like that guy. I want his shirt. Chronological snobbery. It's coming.
Penn, it's funny that you say that, coincidentally, because we got the PC Chat Awards that's coming here pretty soon, and we got this thing this year. It's called Phrase of the Year, and chronological snobbery. It might not make it because it's so late, but Who knows? Intellectual curiosity might just win phrase of the year. You never know.
Should. We're very intellectually curious over here.
First and foremost, intellectual curiosity is not a phrase. That's a sentence.
I mean, it's both.
Yes.
But okay.
I'm intellectually curious.
Yeah, I guess.
What do you mean you guess, Ron? You got to.
It's more a phrase to me.
You got a topic. You got a topic, which is intelligence, and you have the end of it, which is curious, which would be a verb, an adverb actually. But I'm intellectually curious, which is a verb too. Whenever Penn brings something up, I am intellectually curious. That's why I ask questions.
I heard Doris Burke use it the other day.
And she didn't just come out of nowhere with that, by the way. She did not.
Where?
On Summer League, she was talking about Jaylen Brown. She said he's very intellectually curious. I heard it. My ears perked up. I was like,
and by the way,
might be a PC fan. Dope.
I'm glad you brought that up, Penn, because in all the years you've been watching Doris Burke, have you ever heard Doris Burke, who I dig, by the way, have you ever heard her use intellectually curious? Have you ever heard her say that? No. I have never heard her say that.
But chill, that's the cool thing. It's like she didn't even have to watch PC. Maybe somebody who she knows watches PC. Maybe someone who she knows somebody who watches PC.
Sure.
And they just said, you know what? I'm intellectually curious because it's funny, when you say that. But yeah, like I mean, it's cool how like talking to we pull up sometimes 30, 40, 50,000 views in an episode. Obviously, somebody is listening to us. You know what I mean? They're gonna talk. It's cool. It's cool, man. Influence. Shout outs.
Yo, but speaking of the chat awards, we got a bunch of different topics. We got a bunch of different categories and whatnot. And you guys are going to be the ones to help us vote on who gets nominated and all of that good stuff. But we have one award that we're kind of in a limbo with because we posted on our social medias, and it's the biggest goofy of the year. But you guys thought that award was for the panel, and it's not. The biggest goofy is a chat award. And so I need some of you guys after this episode for sure, but even right now in the live chat, I need some of you guys to let me know who you would nominate for the biggest chat goofy. Who's the biggest goofy in the chat? Shout out my man Brax. He took that award away last year. He cleaned up. But who y'all got? Biggest goofy in the chat.
I don't care about the league MVP Mars. I don't care about the defensive player of the year. I want to be on the all-pro team. That's all I care about. I need to be on the all-pro team. Yes, I do care about that. The league MVP, I got snubbed last year. What did I finish? Second in league MVP votes, Ron? Something like that?
Yeah.
So I definitely finished top 5 in league MVP votes. I'm just looking for an all league. Nod. That's it. That's what I'm looking for.
This is like the golden ball. It's just politics, PR, and bullshit. Quite frankly, you can be the best player, not get a single vote. Whatever.
Right.
I'm seeing a lot of Franks. I'm seeing a lot of Mikes. I'm seeing a lot of buddies. Grumsy. Damn. Mad Max.
Yes.
You guys agree with those names?
Is for Goofy?
Yeah, biggest goofy in the chat.
Jose Max. Give it to them both.
Jose who?
Spanish Jose.
My man Spanish Jose?
Yep.
You don't rock with him, Pin?
Nope.
What he do to you?
He called him gay.
I'm pretty sure that I don't know which one of them it was, but he used it as an insult. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
We don't do that.
To pull that from Seinfeld.
If you like dudes, you like girls. Hey man, to each his own. That's what we do around here. That's that. Whatever you like. Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, shout out Spanish Jose. Shout out Mad Max. Shout out Grumsy. Shout out Frank, my dog. Shout out Mike the Champ. All right, it looks like we got some good nominees. So here's what we're gonna do. And also, too, everybody that's watching, make sure after the episode to drop your list of 3 to 4 names that you think should be nominated for biggest goofy of the year. But tomorrow, after the episode, what we're going to do is we are going to publish a spreadsheet where you can go through and vote on every single chat award. You'll see the nominees. You'll see who you can vote for. You go through and vote who you would want to win that award. And, you know, these awards include panel MVP.
It's definitely not you. You ain't played enough games. You did not meet the 65 game requirement. You did
as of right now.
As of today.
Is that why you picked the topics you did last week?
As of today.
What are you talking about?
You tried to sabotage Ox, give him like the worst topics ever. So we had G League episode after G League episode. So everyone would be like, oh my God, we missed Ron. I'm on to you. I see your game. But
Ron,
then again, today, Ron, but hang on. He's smiling because he knows I'm right. But today we know that Ron was hosting and he didn't even send us a topic list. So I'm like, damn, how Ron might be Ox's worst enemy, but he's also his own worst enemy. So, you know, okay, he sabotaged his own show too. Never mind.
Yeah, Ron pissing in the punch bowl.
He threw me off. He threw me off a little bit.
That's what Ron doing. Oh shit, Ron is pissing in the punch bowl and then telling everybody that the juice is tainted and like he's gonna go bring some more juice. Okay,
damn, Ron, you pissing in the punch bowl?
Yeah, and all y'all drinking it.
No, Ron pissing in the punch bowl and then he replacing the punch bowl with a new one.
What is this R. Kelly shit, bro?
Well, he the one who sabotaged the first one. Okay, we on to you, Ron.
I'm spiking the punch for sure, but chill had a pocket talking about I'm peeing in it. I'm just spiking it. I'm just turning it up a little bit.
Ron, you know how you tell me to euro this piss thing before I start calling you Ron Kelly for the next couple of weeks, bro. That shit might catch on, and you might not like where that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out R. Kelly. But yeah, some of the topics are panel MVP, which chill, you said it's not going to be me, but I just want you guys to know there's only one reigning panel MVP right now up here. Shout out to whoever that is. The next award is Rookie of the Year. Penn, you are on that ballot.
What? I've been here for 3 years.
No, you're a rookie.
Penn is like, wait a minute, what? How many call-ups have you gotten, Penn?
First of all,
how many rest of the season contracts have you gotten, Penn?
No, I reject this award. Not that I'm going to win this award. This award is Jay's going away. Don't try to put me on this.
Jay's not a rookie.
Neither is Penn.
How am I a rookie?
Because you're just a rookie. They categorize.
I've been here for 3 years.
They categorize you as a rookie. So, yeah.
Who is they? Who are these crackheads?
They.
It sounded to me like Penn, like you got called up a couple of times from the G League, and you got sent back down, and then you was able to get a contract for the rest of the season, but then you didn't start the season on somebody's roster, and then you got called up again. So you ain't really.
Sure,
you haven't really finished the whole
season. You have not been here for 3 years.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
So you were here in 2023.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
No,
it was 2023 going on 2000. I can tell you exactly.
The year Denver won the NBA championship, you was not here that summer. No, you wasn't.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna check this out.
You're not being very intellectually curious right now, Penn.
I'm actually researching when I got here, so I'm being deeply intellectually curious.
But while Penn's digging that up, some other awards, we got Guest of the Year. Jay will be on that ballot. We got Goofy of the Year, which we're trying to figure out right now. We need some nominees. So like I said, drop your nominees who you think should be Goofy of the Year. We got Biggest Yapper. Shout out to whoever takes home Biggest Yapper. We got Biggest Crash Out. That's another category. We got the Most Obnoxious. We got the Iron Man chat member who showed up in the chat, who was here, clocked in on time, participating, always active, sending through super chats, commented after the show, who's always available on every platform, every episode. Members only streams, all of that good stuff. The chat MVP, who really is the GOAT in the chat. Beef of the Year.
2.5 years. So 2024 spring.
So the playoffs of 2024 is when you started.
Right before that.
Okay.
Before that.
So you about to get that
like February-ish.
So if I'm not mistaken, Mars, February 2024, that's when I get called up and I get I get the 10-day. And
Chill, you can't remember the last week I wasn't here.
I'm on the books for the rest of the season.
I resent this.
Yeah, you getting that Blake Griffin, Ben Simmons Rookie of the Year award. It's
That's
okay.
some bullshit. That's some bullshit right there. But okay.
Shit.
You know I ain't winning this award, right? Like you just setting me up.
That's what it sounds like, man.
It ain't nothing
Sound like
wrong
you
with
trying
being
to
an old
set you up.
rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
We also got beef of the year. You might win this one. Beef of the year. That's another
I'm
one.
peaceful now. Apart from the Mars nonsense. Like,
Now isn't then. So like the beef of the year, it could have been 9 months ago. It could have been 6 months ago. It could have been today. You never know, man. You never know. But we got beef of the year, moment of the year. So this is an award that we just added. What was the best moment of the year? I'm gonna give you guys a couple just because this is one of my favorite awards. We got the pastor talk sermon. You know, after those guys from Denver got packed up, that was a good moment. We got a certain guy falling out of his chair. That was another good one. We got a Embiid versus Jokic debate.
okay.
That was another good moment. Ron losing bets and becoming a Knicks fan. I don't think that was all that great of a. I didn't think that was all that great of a moment, but hey.
You just wanted to be included. That's nice.
And then we also got the panel's Magic Johnson debates. Those were also some good moments too. So shout out moment of the year. I can't wait to see which one of those actually wins. As I mentioned earlier, we also got phrase of the year. There's some good ones in here. I'm not going to read them all, but shout out to Intellectual Curiosity. And then we just added a new one because last year we had worst take of the year, which we're still going to have worst take of the year this year. But if we're going to have a worst take of the year, we got to have a best take of the year as well. So we added in best take of the year. And those are all
being
the awards.
Olivia Miles should be it.
No, unfortunately, that didn't make the.
He was early on Olivia Miles too.
Sorry, real talk. That didn't make the cut, buddy.
He wasn't just early. He was
try again
all
next
the
year.
way in. See, like some people,
Real
they
talk
deliver
was not early on Olivia Miles.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
I'm the
Ron,
nigga that said
no,
last
see, here we
year
go
that
with the bullshit.
I said
No.
she's the no, time out. I said last year that she is the Magic Johnson of women's basketball players.
But we know
College
you respect
women's
Magic
basketball
Johnson.
players.
No, not college. I said she is the Magic Johnson of women's basketball.
Ron, did
You
you think
should
she was
have
going
said
to be
she
this
was.
good?
Never mind.
What?
Did you think she was going to be this good, Ron?
Real Talk never said that Olivia Miles was going to step in the league and average 20, 10, and 9. And I don't know if that's exactly what she's averaging, but Real Talk never said she was
He
going to
did have
step
her
in.
getting busy.
He
did have
never
her
said
getting
she
busy.
was going to step in and be
Ron, just-
in the
just-
MVP
You were
categories.
telling us about Hannah Hidalgo.
And I'm still telling you about Hannah, but that has nothing to do with Olivia. What I'm saying, and I'm not hating on Real Talk either. He
Where was
has
you
been
taking her in this draft?
He has been high. Hold on, right quick. He has been high, but Real Talk's thing with Olivia, he's just been glazing her through and through. He never predicted that she was going to be an All NBA player and all of that.
Well,
He said she should have been the number 1 pick.
that's
a
number one.
lot of us agree with that.
Right.
Okay. He also said that she was like the best guard, rookie guard that he's ever seen, or something like that.
You didn't say that, Ron.
He didn't.
So-
He didn't
say
say.
that.
He didn't say ever seen. Real Talk never said that. He said. He
pretty
said
sure
she
he
was the
did.
best guard in
I
this
could be wrong.
class, which it was between her and AZ Fudd. And anybody who had 2 eyes knows that she should have went first. Real Talk wasn't saying anything that was out of the ordinary about Olivia Miles.
He was early though. That's not true, Ron. He was early about her. He thought that she was going to get busy. He didn't give us exact numbers and go, yo, she's going to be 27 and 10. And no, he didn't tell us that. But what he did tell us was that she was going to get busy. He thought that she should have been the number 1 pick in the draft. He said that before the draft, not even after the draft, even before the draft.
Everybody thought that who watched the WNBA. Real Talk was not the only one who thought Olivia Miles should have went first. Like that's not a hot take. That's not I was early before you guys. Yes, the best guard coming out of college should have been the number 1 pick.
Does it hurt you to give other people their flowers?
No, I'm getting Real Talk can take his flowers. I don't know. He could put them in a vase. He could give them to his girlfriend. He could pluck every rose petal. What I'm saying is that's not like you said that should be best take of the year. It wasn't even a take. Like
Let me make a suggestion.
everybody thought that watched college basketball.
I think we should have.
I said that. I said that.
I think we should have an intern, right, at PC, with encyclopedic knowledge of all of our past takes, so that when somebody tries to pull off this, I said this early or I didn't say this early, comedically, that person can chime in with the exact clip at the exact moment that proves you're lying. And that would be hilarious. I think that would be an awesome addition. And I'm going to bring it up. I'm bringing that up to Dave. That is a great idea, because I catch people way too many times saying they didn't say what they actually said, and they absolutely did say it.
Yeah, well, these are all the awards. You guys get ready tomorrow. You guys are going to have your opportunity to go vote on what you think should win every award, who you think should win every award, and all of that good stuff. Panel Chat Awards last Friday of this month, which is July 31st, which also happens to be the last day of this month. Pull up. It's going to be a hell of an episode. It's going to be a good time. I can't wait to see who leaves with awards. I can't wait to see who leaves without awards. I can't wait to see who holds it down in the chat and who takes an award home on that end too. But all I know is it's going to be a hell of a time. But circling back around to the topic at hand, which stars would we like to see play each other in the same era? My man Tupac Westside has chimed in and sent through a $10 super chat. You already know Tupac. Tupac said, "Morning, fellas. I got a brand new company car and I'm feeling good. I'd love to see Shaq and Joker and Bron and Jordan in the same era. All four could adapt, and I would love to see them going against one another." You guys knew we weren't going to get through this episode without Bron and Jordan, but we also got Shaq and Joker. What happens if all four of these players play in the same era?
Would love to see Joker and Shaq in the same era. Absolutely. Because I think that it would be cinema off the strength of Shaq going up against a big guy like Joker. Because he struggled against Big Country. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I don't know what it was
Also
about Big
against
Country.
Sabonis.
He struggled against he struggled against Big Country. I mean, he wasn't bad against Sabonis, but he struggled against Big Country. He had a problem with these big guys who could shoot jump shots, especially in.
Are you talking defensively or offensively?
Defensively, he struggled against these guys like Big Country, for example. Big Country could knock down a 16-footer. And Shaq couldn't do anything with that. And he was trying to figure out why. And also, Big Country wasn't very athletic. Big Country would run the floor, though. And Big Country would get putbacks. Big Country would get layups. And Shaq would realize later on in the game that I got to start playing. Meanwhile, he'd look at the box score at halftime, and Big Country got 14, 7, and 2 blocks. And he's like, shit, I'm getting my ass kicked by this guy. And I don't know how he's doing it. So I say that, I say that to say, I say that to say, I think Shaq and Joker would be box office off the strength that Joker is just so good offensively, and him dragging Shaq away from the basket. I think those two contrasting styles would just be cinema, would just be straight cinema.
What does it look like with all four of them in the league, though? That'd be a hell of a year. You got peak Jokic, peak Bron, peak Jordan, and peak Shaq.
I think somebody
would join Jokic's team.
You sure you're going to Jokic's team?
Yeah. He's not going to join MJ, but he'll join the next best time.
Sounds
So
like Bron to me.
Jokic versus MJ. Yeah.
peak Joker, peak Shaq, peak Jordan, peak Joker, Shaq, Jordan, and James.
Still Michael's league.
I think it's so. Are we talking 2000 Shaq? So 2000 Shaq, 2009 James, or 2013 James?
I'm gonna go 13.
2013 James, 92 Jordan.
Whoa. Why?
I think that's the best Jordan. I think that's the best version of Jordan. 92 Jordan was just on top of his game, I think, in every aspect. And what am I looking at? 24 Joker? I'm looking at 24 Joker. All right. So I think in 92, I think Jordan had mastered the game. Like the game had slowed down for him. He was playing basketball the way he wanted to play. Physically, he was there. His jump shot was good. The three ball was working. Athletically, I think he was at his peak. And he was just so dominant at that position. I think James in 13, bigger, faster, stronger, more cerebral at that point. I think Shaq was definitely smarter in 2000, and he learned to play off of guys more with the addition of Phil Jackson. I'm going to say James. I think James is the best player. I think Jordan. I think Shaq, and I think Jokic.
Yeah, all I know is that would be a hell of a league.
Yes, sir.
That'd be a hell of a year.
I think if they're all in the league at the same time. I think it's James. I think it's Jordan. I think it's Shaq, and then I think it's Jokic.
And yeah, I agree with Penn. It's Michael's league. They would all revolve around Michael. Michael would set the tone of the league. But all right, running to the next super chat. The one guy that got mentioned earlier, who knows? He might become one of the biggest goofies after all. But my man Spanish Jose said, I had asked this question on Fluent and Chill's show, and now I bring it to the panel. If the Warriors had Boris Diaw instead of Draymond Green, would they win the same championships? Chill said, absolutely not.
No. Boris Diaw doesn't provide the defensive impact that Draymond does. He's not their Lawrence Taylor, right? He's not their Ray Lewis on defense like Draymond is, in addition to being the hub on offense. And he did it for a longer period of time. Like at that time, I feel like the San Antonio Spurs, especially during that time, like with Boris Diaw being a rotation guy, like he played a lot against rotation guys. But I think Draymond played more against the first unit guys, and I think he played in more crucial minutes than Boris Diaw. And I say that to say I think that Draymond, he just brought more to that group than what Boris Diaw did. And I don't think it's a question that they would not win nearly as much with Boris Diaw as they would with Draymond Green. No.
Do they get one?
Easily. It would be disrespectful to Boris Diaw to suggest they wouldn't get one.
What year? Are you talking about in
both KD years? They get those.
I mean,
if you add in KD,
yeah, like
that's different.
So what are you asking? In 2015,
they added Kevin Durant.
My thing is with that though, you could take Draymond off that team and they still win.
No, I don't think so.
So
I don't think it's that.
Yeah,
you are massively.
I don't think they win. I don't think they win 15 with Boris Diaw.
Like just completely take him off.
You can completely.
You add nothing. You add nothing back.
You add nothing back. They were that good where they would still
in 17
win the championship, 17 and 18, and maybe even 19 too.
Damn,
they were that. Like KD could play the 4. Andre Iguodala could step in and play the 3. You still got Steph and Clay.
Boy, Iguodala was hurt in the playoffs in 18, and they barely won that championship with Draymond.
It was 17 and 19 then. Iguodala could step in.
KD gets hurt in the playoffs in 19, and so does Clay.
And then in 17, we can argue that Draymond was arguably the best defensive player in the game while being their hub offensively.
Yeah, 17, they probably still win.
He's like an organizer of offense and such a central cog. Like yesterday, I said this.
I mean, they swept the playoffs. I think it's likely they can still win. But sorry, go ahead.
Connectors are very underrated.
They are
by most casual fans. Like I would say, there's this phrase that a lot of people say, like the future is positionless, right? But I think across sports, the future is continuous. Look at the best soccer teams. Look at the best basketball teams. There's continuous and continuous movement, continuous advantage generation, continuous advantage extension. Draymond is an incredible advantage extender. So, connect.
What do you mean when you say an advantage extender? I want to make sure I'm following you. What is an advantage extender?
So all of basketball is probing for mistakes. Okay. When I bring Steph Curry on the baseline and I have him like dart up, I'm preying on a mistake from the defense. I'm praying for an overreaction or an underreaction when Steph catches the basketball. That overreaction or underreaction is going to trigger the first advantage, which is being created by Steph's gravity, which is going to then go to Draymond, at which point he has to just simply connect the dots to the corner shooter or the layup or back to Steph or to Clay. And that decision making is his superpower because he is processing that decision and the accuracy of that decision without the error rate of that decision rate at a better rate than the average big by far. So that playmaking from the center spot, power forward spot is very underrated. And I don't think you can just replace it with, oh, but this guy's more talented or this guy scores better. It would just be a very different team. And I don't think that that team works to the benefit of Steph Curry.
Do you think that?
Well, then why? Right, quick, chill. Well, then why did you say when we mentioned Boris Diaw, you said absolutely?
Because Boris Diaw is also an excellent advantage extender. He is also a very underrated defender. So
He's an underrated defender?
Yeah, he's an underrated defender for sure. He played positions really well. He's an insanely smart basketball player. He played point guard coming up. Boris Diaw's really good. I just don't think he's Draymond Green.
I don't think he is neither. It sounds to me, Penn, because I want to make sure that I'm following you. So do you think that as an extender of offense, like that makes our offense better?
Of course. You're probing for advantages. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, what are the greatest players of all time? Shaquille O'Neal, what do they all do? They cause the defense to what? Overreact, overcommit. And off that gravity, you don't have to score. You don't have to score yourself.
But if I keep you on defense longer, that's going to wear you down because what I'm making you do, you're more prone to mistakes if we continue to extend the plays. If I make you play defense longer, and I get you to make it, and in fact, I get you to make mistakes even early on in your defensive schemes because you were playing defense longer. I can get with that, sure. I could get with that.
Absolutely, yes. It's the same thing that's happening right now in almost all sports. Like you're accelerating the rate of decisions that you're making as an offensive team, from cutters to screeners, off ball screens, and whatever. And all of this is to create gaps, openings, and lanes, paths to score. Yep. And in those situations, you want excellent finishers. So I look at like the Knicks offense is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's a bunch of guys who have maximum court coverage. So the question that I would ask is, where is Jalen Brunson not a threat? Where is Karl-Anthony Towns not a threat? Where is OG Anunoby not a threat? Where is Mikal Bridges not a threat? Now, none of these players are necessarily the prototypical superstar, but they're extremely well-rounded players. And in that well-roundedness, if you have a coach who can tie together these pieces and add in enough wrinkles and enough discipline off the ball, you can create excellent offense. And that excellent offense is going to create not so excellent defense, which means you're going to have defenders that are out of position, which are going to open up offensive rebounds, which is going to open up easy drives, easy lanes to the basket. So again, this is clear that Draymond contributes very positively to offense, even though he himself is not a dominant scorer.
I don't hate that. I don't. I think we get wrapped up a lot of times in just putting the ball in the bucket, even though that's the object of the game. And I do understand that, like, that's very important, but it's not as easy as it's made out to be. It's kind of like when I hear guys like talk about football, like all you got to do is get the ball in the end zone. No, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen in order to get the ball in the end zone. And I feel like Draymond, I think that he does a lot of the stuff necessary in order to help get the ball in the basket, considering I'm not the best bucket getter. So I do a lot of stuff to help our offense advance the ball to get it in the basket. And that's not me making more of this than what it is. No, not at all. Because a guy like Draymond is necessary. Like, we need Draymond on our crew. If you don't got Draymond, it's going to be hard for you to win. I say that to say that in this era, a lot of the stuff that he does gets overlooked off the strength that he doesn't score it at a high rate.
Well, it's just like when people look at centers who don't shoot threes and they automatically assume that center who doesn't shoot threes negatively impacts three-point shooting, which is just not the case. There are plenty of centers that don't shoot threes that very positively impact three-point shooting. Mitchell Robinson, Jakob Poeltl, Isaiah Hartenstein.
Rudy
I don't think
Gobert.
any of these
as an offensive rebounder,
that's true, but his reads out of those situations are not necessarily the greatest. Draymond Green is another one. I think all of these players, like, basically, if you have connective qualities as a big, I don't see how, if you're a good screener and you have good connective reads and you're a decent offensive rebounder, I don't see how you hurt three-point shooting as a collective, which is to say that even though you're not the one who's hitting 35, 36% from three, even if you're not taking any threes in the case of a Mitchell Robinson, as long as you're sufficient at getting offensive rebounds and getting clean looks off those offensive rebounds, I don't see as a collective how you're hurting our overall production. And that's the point, isn't it? We want you as a player to influence team offense, not
And
you
Draymond
as a
does
player.
great job.
Exactly. So this is, I think
Draymond
this
does
is
a
like
great
the
job
two.
at that.
I think this is a 2Kification of how we understand basketball.
Yes,
is to
Ron.
say-
2Kification is a word. Yes, it is.
Well, it's just,
Oh,
I
do you
just
Yes, he just made up a word. Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
yeah, but
2Kification.
that's what it is, right? Like when somebody says, "Oh, I want a better 3-point shooting team," what do? They play 5 out, but that's not necessarily how you get better 3-point shooting as a whole. Passing the ball hot potato around the perimeter, like you get it. No, you get it. That's not how you do it. You get it through screeners, cutters, offensive rebounders. You need athletes. You need athletes. Like people very much underrate guard screeners in terms of the ability to get clean looks and from three.
Yeah.
In fact, I think a large part of why the Hornets last year were as good as they were is because of like the well-roundedness of all the players and the offensive rebounding of Moussa Diabate. Like that creates the system that creates the threes. Even though Moose is
I
not a
did
big
see
point
what you
shooter.
was looking at, Mars, when you watched Moose. Like initially, I was trying to figure out what it was. Like, what is Mars seeing this guy? And then I started watching more Charlotte games, and I saw the extra possessions. I saw the finishing around the rim. I saw the defensive impact, and I was like, okay, I see it. Yep, I see him being able to get 2 and 3 stops in a row at the rim, which now deters the offense on the wing from coming in here. And now y'all take bad shots. Now we can rebound the ball and we can speed the game up and we can play faster, which was to LaMelo's strength. So I saw it. Yeah. Initially, I was trying to make sense. Like, is Mars trolling me, or is this guy really something to see? And I saw it.
Moussa
Yeah.
Diabate or Moses Malone?
Moses. I'm gonna say Moses.
Yeah, but with all that being said, yeah, they don't win no championships with Boris Diaw, excluding KD. They, shout out to Boris. You know, I think they do become a better offensive team, but obviously defense is, defense. Yeah. So I don't think that they pull any of those off.
They could have won in 22
without Draymond.
Without Draymond, but with Boris, yeah.
Yeah, your dog hates that take, Ox. So do I.
Yeah, I do.
He just mad because he got put up.
All right. The next super chat that I got is from Ali Bowens. Ali said, Prime KD is beating the absolute dog shit out of Larry Bird.
Here we go.
If he dropped 30 on Prime Bron, what is he doing to Bird?
Okay, dropping 30 on him. So what? Okay, dropping 30 on him. And what is Bird doing to him?
Whatever he
Bird
wants.
can't guard KD.
KD can't guard Bird.
That's a common tale amongst those elite players. They can't guard each other. It's just that's just a common tale amongst those super elite dudes. Bron can't guard KD and KD can't guard Bron. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of them things, man. It's just one of them things. You get to a certain level of nice when only you can guard you. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, like not everybody, but there is a certain level of nice when you're like the defense is just praying that you miss. And we've seen those guys. I'm not saying they come around all the time, but it comes around quite often. They come around quite often.
It's a good amount of them. We've seen it more than enough times. In the league, it's 7 guys in the league right now that it's like only thing we can hope for is that for the most part, obviously you can scheme against them. Some guys don't like physicality. Some guys don't like quicker defenders to get under them. Some guys can't handle double teams. But for the most part, we're hoping that you just miss shots. Yeah. For the most part.
Right. I think there is, like you said, 7 to 10 guys that you kind of hope that their coach puts them in a disadvantage. Like getting Kevin Durant to have the ball, right cross half court. You know what I'm saying? You're putting Kevin Durant in a bad spot. That has a lot to do with Fred VanVleet not being there.
Yeah.
But if Kevin Durant is in his spots, able to get there, you're just praying.
Yeah.
You're just simply just praying. And there's guys that you can't scheme against if they have the proper roster construction. Then there's also guys that you can scheme against, but if you don't scheme against them, and this isn't that top 7, top 10. This is guys that aren't even top 20. These are guys that are around that, if you don't scheme against these dudes, you're praying that they miss too. These are professional basketball players. You know what I'm saying? A lot of defense in the NBA is just hoping. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can do the best you can, but after a certain level of niceness, it's just like, bro, we just hope he missed that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, these dudes are professionals. This is what they do.
Chauncey Billups said himself, there's really nothing that you like. Once a guy gets it going, like ain't really nothing you could do with him. Like,
You can call a timeout, coach.
Yeah, ain't like so a guy like KD, if KD makes 2 or 3 shots in a row and he get going, like what can you really do with KD? And I could use that same logic with Bird. Like if Bird makes his first 2 or 3 shots or makes a couple of shots in a row and he starts to get going, what can you really do with him? Nothing. Ain't really nothing that you can do with him. Only except these kind of players. Only except that these kind of players have to know exactly what not their limitations are, but know how to channel that. Because, like to Jordan's point, Dominique would shoot himself out of the game. Like Dominique would shoot himself out of the game. Reggie Miller would shoot himself out the game. Like Jordan said, Joe Dumars make his first 2 or 3 shots, Ron. I'm in a world of hurt. That's what his exact words was. I'm in big trouble if Joe Dumars hits his first 2 or 3 shots. Because number one, he ain't gonna say a word to me. Number two, he's not gonna chase the ball, which means he's gonna let the game come to him, and he's gonna stay within the flow of the offense. When you playing against somebody like that, it's almost impossible to deal with him.
The one thing I do believe, like we got to try to find the edge in that conversation, and I think the only edge with Bird is that he's going to try to force it a little bit more than KD as far as like putting up shots. I think KD lets the game come to him a lot more, and that's not a knock on KD because he's so efficient. You know what I'm saying? He really picks good shots. You know what I mean? I think Bird might force it a little more than KD if that is an advantage.
But also too though with that, Ox, like Bird is, you can run the game through Bird. Not saying you can't run the game through KD, but KD's not really going to get his teammates off and things like that. Bird was such a good passer that he could be the ecosystem. He was a point forward of such. So like it's a little different too. Like you want a guy like that to force the issue because he's really creating advantages all around the court, whether it's for himself or whether it's for somebody else, whether it's bending the defense, setting defenders up, all of that. So like KD, when he gets it, it's like, can I shoot this? Where can I get to shoot it? How am I gonna, get a shot up? With Bird, it's a little different. He's looking at the game differently and he's thinking a couple steps ahead.
But can I also use that same logic, Ox, with Bird when it comes to being efficient? With KD being efficient, like I feel like KD will let you off the hook as a bucket getter. Like Bird will pour it on. Like Bird won't stop. Bird's gonna keep going. Once Bird gets going, he is not gonna stop. Like I feel like KD is one of those bucket getters where he'll get to a certain point and then he'll let his foot off the gas. And to your point, when you're talking about efficiency, like I think that KD may be. I think KD, you can argue that he may be a little bit more efficient, but I can also say in the same breath, I think that KD might let you off the hook, and I think that Bird has an advantage in that area as a bucket getter.
Yeah, I think that's kind of. I don't think that's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at. Sure. But the only reason I was a little reluctant to say that is because that's something we talk about up here. Like KD will let you off the hook. He's not really trying to go for 60 or whatever, but it sure as hell don't feel that way.
Because it looks so damn easy. That's why.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it looks so easy. That's why.
Like after the fact, it's kind of easy to have that conversation just because Kevin Durant isn't the guy that we expect to go for 50 every night, and we know he has the ability to give you whatever he wants to give you. I think that's kind of turned into a negative when it's not really a negative, because when you watch Kevin Durant, it sure don't look like he letting you off, especially a younger Kevin Durant, a more of a prime Kevin Durant, or even that Brooklyn Nets Kevin Durant. When you're watching it, you don't feel that way. I speak for myself. I don't feel that way. I might feel like this older version of Kevin Durant isn't the same killer that he was before he left OKC, but that dude was a madman, chill. Like that dude he abused people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we might be like, oh, he wasn't. I don't feel that way, and I'm sure the people that were guarding him don't feel like they got let off the hook that night.
I mean, I think that, to Lou Will's point and to Pat Bebb's point, yes, we did try everything that we could to deal with him. We definitely tried to stop him. But with that being said, I mean, I think that there were games where I feel like there were games where when did they play the Clippers? I want to say in the first round of 18 or 19. One of them 2 years.
18, right?
It was 19.
It was 19 when they played them, and
18, 19. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I mean, like, there was a game where I think there was a game where KD went for like 38 or 40, and I think he shot like 22 shots. And he was like 15 for like 20 or some shit like that.
That's a lot of shots, man.
Right. But like that 15 for 20, if Bryant got it going like that 15 for 20 gonna be 20. That 15 for 20 gonna be 22 for like 40. Like, I'm not stopping. I'm not letting you off the hook.
They won by 100. So I mean,
that's where the Kevin Durant.
Is that the game where they blew?
They blew him out because it was the game. If I'm remembering the right game,
yeah,
it was the game after he took like 5 shots or something, and then they asked him about why he's not being aggressive because they just lost. It was 1-1. Yeah. They just lost. They were asking KD why wasn't he taking shots. Blah blah blah. He had a bad game. He had like 10 turnovers.
I'm Kevin Durant. Y'all know who I am.
Yeah, and then it came. It was like, I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Like I can score whenever I want, basically. Yeah. And then he came out and they won by 100, and he had like.
Didn't he get busy like the last 2 games of that series, something like that?
Yeah, he closed it out with 50.
Yeah, but chill. Wouldn't y'all agree that Kevin Durant's not as ball dominant as a lot of those dudes?
I'm not gonna say he's not as ball dominant, but what I am gonna say is he gets to it quicker. Like, there is no extracurricular.
Well, I mean,
stuff
but like the difference between KD and Kobe is Kobe always had the ball.
He does.
But I mean, don't you want your killer to have the ball though?
I mean, always is a stretch. But,
I mean, yeah, but he
had the ball a lot in that triangle.
Kobe got the rock. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he had the ball a lot.
KD's coming to get the ball. Boom, boom, pow. There you go. Take that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna chill over here for a second. Oh, here I come. Pow. Take that. Mm-hmm. Like,
he's a wing.
Kobe, like, you know what I'm saying? He flipping you around. He doing all types of shit to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Kobe doing all he's doing everything to you. KD's coming to get the ball.
You're seeing the difference between a wing and a guard. That's it.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Now, I think that's the reason people feel like KD's letting you off the hook is because he doesn't have the ball as much. And so maybe that's why he has to kill you with 22 shots as opposed to 29 shots. You know,
also too, like KD never had, I guess you could say, the luxury. I don't know if you would classify it as a luxury, but he never had the luxury of playing on a team where, like Kobe did in 2005, where I'm playing with Kwame Brown, Devin George, and Smush Parker. Luxury. KD never had the luxury just as a scorer. Now I'm just now I can just really just do whatever I want. Like he never had that type of opportunity. And one thing, like I have my reservations for KD as a scorer. One thing for me, it is empty in the clip. But on the flip side, to give KD some bail from that, KD played with Russ. KD played with James Harden. KD played with Kyrie Irving. KD played with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. KD played with, whoever else he's played with in between. Devin Booker,
number one option on all those things.
No, I get that, Pin, but when you play with other stars, you kind of have to sacrifice for other stars. So, Kobe played with Shaq, but
I don't think he sees it that way. I mean, I'm not sure if he sees it that way. I don't know, KD, but I'm telling you how I see it though. My thing is Kobe played with Pau Gasol's nothing close to those other players that I just. Well, he is, but I'm saying those other. But once again,
yeah,
Pau Gasol was a big. Pau Gasol somebody had to insert the ball to Pau Gasol.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna keep letting y'all disrespect Pau Gasol on this platform.
This isn't a disrespect to Pau. What I'm saying is
I just want to make that clear, Ron. I'm not standing for any more Pau Gasol disrespect anymore.
Have you had enough, Ox?
This is the last day.
Have you had enough,
and Ron, I understand that you say
you think Pau Gasol gets disrespected up here?
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, I do.
Ron, was quite nice to Pau Gasol.
I understand that you weren't trying to disrespect Pau Gasol. I know I reacted quick before you finished what you were saying. I just want to be clear though.
That's enough.
There's no more, no more from this day forward. Pau Gasol,
that's enough of that.
I'm
done with that.
Yo,
I don't think Pau gets disrespected though.
Pau Gasol was nasty.
He was awesome.
He's way better than Chris Bosh, right?
I think he's way better than Chris Bosh.
I wouldn't say way better, but I think he was definitely better.
I have to tell you, I'm tired of Pau Gasol disrespect coming from you. Okay.
I think he was definitely better than Chris Bosh. I don't think that's a conversation that we need to really get too deep into. But I'm you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was better than Chris Bosh. Yeah, he was. And that says a lot because Chris Bosh was cold.
But Ron,
okay, keep going. My bad, Ron. Just I want to make sure y'all understand there will be no more Pau Gasol disrespect.
Well, those power forwards of the 2000s, Oaks gonna put the cape on for them because they've been getting disrespected recently.
I'm sorry with Pau Gasol. Ox is hearing no more of that. But Ron, I mean, you said that KD didn't have the luxury because what it sounds like is, Bryant had the luxury of playing on a bad team where he could just get busy. I mean, KD's second year, I mean, he's playing with, Sean Livingston and,
KD's 20 years old. Like that doesn't. KD was 21. In his second year. KD was nothing close to what he became in year. And KD's growth happened quick too. Year 2 to 3 with KD was completely different.
Yeah,
like we see, once KD got a little stronger and and he started, he got a feel for the league. KD took off quick. So like year 2 don't necessarily count. I'm saying like
what about year 3
else,
though? Then, Ron? So what about year 3?
You saying that Oklahoma City water was a lot better than the Seattle water? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that. What about about year 3? So he ain't gonna get you started, Ron. So what about year 3 KD though, Ron? I mean, because that's the 30 a game KD, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when he started leading the league in scoring.
The second in MVP, Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that KD. I mean, I got a second year Russ. I got a Rook James Harden that I'm running with, right? I think Nick Collison is on that team. Serge is on that team. I think Sean Livingston is still on that team if he's not. And this is Sean Livingston who just came off of a devastating knee injury. Like that, Sean Livingston. So it wasn't like KD, it was slim pickings early on when we first started.
I mean, third year, that was what, 2011?
That was the year they won 50 games. No,
yeah,
that was the year they won 50 games, but were the 8th seed because the West was ridiculous.
9-10, yes.
Yeah, they won 50 games and then got rewarded with playing the reigning champion Lakers, and KD sucked. But the closest I think you're going to get to what Ron is talking about is when Russ went down in 2014 and KD kind of had to do what he could. It was only like 25 games, but that was the closest you're going to get to it. He averaged like 35 in that stretch. So, he did what he did. And he was aggressive. So that's the, I think, closest approximation. But that doesn't mean
he won the league MVP, yes?
The final 4 games against the Clippers, where that whole who I am Kevin Durant clip, in the final 4 games of that series, he closed them out averaging 41 points per game on 57% shooting and 41% from 3. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Good play.
So be clear, Miles. What did you say, like the last 15 games or something like that with Russ?
No, it was the middle of the season. It was a 26-game stretch. He took 22.5 shots a game, 10 free throws, and averaged 35 points. They went 19-7 as well.
I'm looking at that.
And he took. There was a lot of games with a lot of shots. He took 28 in this game against Charlotte. They won. Then they blew a team out, so he took 17. They lost by 4. He took 26 shots and 12 free throws.
Yeah.
Here's a game they won by 4. He took 32 shots and 13 free throws. They lost this game to the Jazz. He took 34 shots and 19 free throws. There's a game they lost to the Grizzlies. He took 28 shots and 9 free throws. A win against the Warriors when he had 54. He took 28 shots and 13 free throws. 17 for 25 against Portland. Jesus Christ.
That game when he took 32 shots, Miles, how many points did he have that night?
34 points. 34 shots against the Jazz. He had 48.
48. Wow.
Yeah, 15 for 25, 41 against the Hawks. They won by 2. They
I don't
played
think
the
anybody
Heat.
questions.
They played the Heat. He had 33. They won by 17. 28 shots against the Blazers. They won. He had 36. 33 shots against the Lakers. He had 43. And another win. Like, KD was aggressive. Moral of the story.
Yeah, I think KD he doesn't mind at times being complimentary to his co-star, even if they are the number 2 or number 3 option. And once again,
he likes winning.
KD, and there's Pin. I'm not saying that it's not a knock to KD. It's actually a good thing. Like he's unselfish for how good he is.
I don't think anybody up here let's put it this way. From 2012 till 2022, it's a 10-year stretch. There's no season in which Kevin Durant, if he wanted to, couldn't have averaged 33 to 34 points per game. Zero. Not one year, not one moment other than, okay, he's out for the Achilles year, but that's it. So him choosing to score 27, 28 more efficiently, I don't think that's a massive concession. I don't really think that's like how he processes the game. And that all being said, he won an MVP in OKC because that was the big scoring year. I would argue he was a much better player with the Golden State Warriors. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong with that part.
He never had.
I think he was a definite. I definitely think he was a better player than much better. I'm comfortable saying he was a better player. Like, I don't think he was leaps and bounds better, but I do think that he got better playing with the Warriors.
I think if you magically put 2014 KD on the Warriors, you'd see he's better than 2017 KD on the Warriors.
I agree with this.
Is this because he was more athletic and more downhill?
That's a big part of it. Downhill, being able to get to the free throw line more. I think the jump shot was already refined by that point. Just once again, not the exact same circumstances. So I still think you'd see like the uber efficiency while being able to get to the rim at higher frequency. The handle was still better at that point. I think people because he had the major Achilles injury, so people acknowledge that one. I think people like don't acknowledge what the Jones fracture did to him as well, in terms of how he looked prior and then post Jones fracture, because he was still a top 3 player on the planet.
2015?
Yes, I think that year in general kind of gets forgotten in terms of what that did for Kevin Durant and his trajectory. So yeah, I think 2014 KD on the Warriors would look better than 17 KD on the Warriors. But
Mars,
I just disagree on.
So is it to harken back to like our previous conversation? Is it fair to say 2013 to 2014 is KD's peak?
Well, I think 2013 is also like substantially worse than 2014, which is why for me, KD's peak would just be 2014 through 17 and then just erase 15. Same way when I do with like Kawhi, it's like it's 17 through 19, but take out 2018. I'll just take out the injury ravaged year. That's kind of how I just compartmentalize it. It's not perfect. It's not like, oh, this is how you should do it. It's just in my brain. That's how I would do it, because it's clearly an outlier season. But once again, it's not that I think you're wrong. It's just I would disagree with much better, but I can see the case because the defense was at a higher level in 17.
And since you bring that up, Mars, I think the divide with you and me, because I want to play devil's advocate here, is what KD was in 14 and what he was in going into 17. I think that he was much more prepared to play with that group as opposed to in 14. In 14, he was bucket getting league MVP, 30 a game, I'm the man, as opposed to when he gets to that Warriors group in 17, the mentality of playing with a bunch of guys who share the basketball. The offense is a lot more fluid. I'm actually playing with guys who can knock down an open shot. I don't have to do everything. In fact, I don't really have to do much to get mine and be effective. So with that being said, would 2014 KD be as effective on that Warrior group as opposed to 2016 KD?
I don't think KD did everything because he wanted to. I think KD did everything out of necessity. And I think you see that by how much he would defer to Russell Westbrook, which some people view as like a bad thing. I think Russell Westbrook was a worthy point guard to allow to be a point guard. But I think that ability to defer in the sense of allowing your point guard to be a point guard is a testament to how someone is malleable. Like
Sure.
KD is a wing. Like he's not one of these heliocentric point forwards who, and it's not a knock to LeBron.
He's not Larry Bird.
He's not doing that.
Well, Larry Bird wasn't heliocentric either. He was just an amazing passer. But
I'm saying he could be. I think his skill set would lend himself dribble, pass, shoot. You don't think so? You don't think
high on the dribble part of that equation? But
Me neither.
Larry Bird is extremely versatile, so I'm not knocking him. I just think you would have to run.
KD could do the other stuff, but he was more of a bucket getter. But as you were saying,
you're talking
like
James Harden.
No, I'm just talking like regular point forward stuff. Like he doesn't have a handle that's better than Denny Avdija. Like his handle wasn't that great, but I think you could run an offense through him, kind of Jokic-y, where he's like at the top, delay, dribble, handoff, multiple guys moving and cutting. I think you could do that, but asking him to just initiate top of the key, I don't think that was Larry Bird's game, which is not a problem because he was 6'10". Like other than Magic Johnson, no one was doing that. So, but anyway, yeah, I just think KD is a willing off-ball player. He's a willing mover. And I think KD likes the game being simple and he likes everyone on the court being a threat. Like back then he would do what it took to like try and win because ultimately that's the goal. So when Russ goes down and it's like, okay, it's either me or Reggie Jackson. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna be the point guard. I'm gonna do what we need. But then when Russ comes back, I'm gonna defer. By defer, I mean I'm gonna go back to my natural role, my off-ball scoring role. Be this team's go-to scorer. Russ can be our point guard, and we can play out of that. He goes to the Warriors in 2014. It's the same thing. I think he just buys into the system. Well, 2014 KD goes to the Warriors, not 14 Warriors. That's different.
And I think that's a fair assessment, Mars. But I think the divide is exactly what you just said. KD would go back to his natural role when Russ came back, but then we got this divide where Russ shoots too much, and Russ wouldn't get off the ball, and then that's where the divide with him and KD came, where he didn't know when to get KD, especially during that time. He didn't know when to get KD the ball. He didn't know how to get KD the ball consistently. I felt like KD.
I think that's an overstated issue, but
I don't think the reason why I don't think that, Miles, is because I think that's one of the main reasons. I think that's one of the main reasons why they lost. Because I do think that if Russ was, I think that if Russ was more of that and KD accepted that role, as opposed to, okay, Russ is shooting, now I got to get mine. I think KD wanted to play off Russ, and I think he wanted to
how
play.
is Russ off the ball? When KD had possessions, how do you feel Russ functioned away from the basketball in those situations?
Most of the time, Russ would either be used as a spacer, and by spacer that means when someone drove and helped off of him, he would cut. But he wasn't the most active off the ball, but no one really was. Like back then, it wasn't, unless you were Rip Hamilton or Ray Allen, most of the off-ball stuff would be design sets. It wasn't just constant motion, especially that OKC team. It wasn't just constant motion and you're cutting through to, like, it was like, we're going to run this and then we're going to see what we have and then we're going to play out of that. So I think Russ was an average point guard off the ball. Like he wasn't Steph Curry, but no one was Steph Curry. He was what you would ask a point guard to be off the ball. If the offense goes away from him, be ready to shoot. If they close out to you, be ready to drive. If they leave you open, cut. That's what he did. He did all this. And then he would crash the offensive glass when there wasn't a body on him, and he did that at a really high level. That's why I think Russ was off the ball. And I don't think Russ shot too much. I'm not going to say that. I don't think Russ shooting too much is the reason why they were losing in the playoffs. I don't agree with that. And I think Russ got KD the ball better than anyone got KD the ball.
I do think that
in his career. So.
That I think that part is correct, but I do think that KD wanted to play more off Russ, with Russ setting him up more, and I don't think that Russ was comfortable enough at the point guard spot to continuously set up KD. I think that Russ was looking a lot more for his offense. Like to Penn's point, when you're talking about playing off the ball, I don't think Russ was that confident being a catch and shoot guy when he became the point guard. I would think that he would have been, considering that he played the two in college, right? Considering that he played the two in college, I would have thought that he would be more of a, I thought he would be more comfortable as a catch and shoot guy, but he really wasn't. He needed the basketball in his hands. And I think that there was this dynamic of Russ trying to be more of a bucket getter to help the group win, as opposed to with KD. KD wanted to play off Russ and have Russ set him up more, which would explain why he loved going to Golden State, because of the way that they moved the basketball, because of the way that they played off of each other. Now, yes, I don't like the fact that, you know, it was the Golden State Warriors, but I do understand the system in which the way that they play, because KD did want to play like that. He wanted to do it with Russ, though.
What if we replace Russell Westbrook? And I'm not saying that Russell Westbrook isn't a hell of a basketball player, but obviously from what I'm gathering from both of you, it's like when KD has the ball, maybe we prefer a point guard who has a little bit more shooting gravity. Do any of the following players shift the title odds in favor of, hey, KD could have won in OKC? Jalen Brunson, current day Jalen Brunson, Kyrie Irving, let's say 2019, 2018.
We put them on Oklahoma City
in place of Russell Westbrook. Does that team win a championship with either of those two players? I'm not going to go as far as Curry because I know they would win with Curry, but I'm just saying, like, can we go a step below Curry and go with Brunson or Kyrie, i.e. better shooters? Current day Jalen Brunson, so 2026 Jalen Brunson.
No, which years of OKC?
Well, what year did you say was KD's prime? Peak 2015. 2014.
So
2014. So that year, if we can give him current day Jalen Brunson as opposed to 2014 Russ, or can we give him 2017 Kyrie?
How about we give him 2013 Chris Paul? Because I think he would love playing off Chris Paul. I don't think he would like playing. I think he would love playing off of Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul would set him up in ways that he hadn't seen. This is before he gets to the Warriors. I think Chris Paul would set him up in ways that he hadn't seen. I think Chris Paul's offense as a bucket getter would be way better because he would be able to knock
Kemba. Someone said prime Kemba. Yo, I'm for the agenda, bro. Run it.
He'd be able to knock down open shots. In addition to knocking down open shots, I think that he would be the playmaker that got KD involved in the game, and he would know not just when to get KD the ball, but how to go to KD consistently. So, and the fact that he can make open shots, I can't overstate that. I think that would have been huge.
I think they probably still lose in 2014 with either one of those guys. Maybe to the Clippers, maybe to the Spurs, maybe to the Heat. I mean, it's a tough run to go through. Like, you got to beat the Clippers and the Spurs and the Heat 3 straight rounds. And the Grizzlies weren't even a walk in the park either. The Grizzlies took them to 7 in 2014, if I remember correctly.
That's correct.
So,
they did.
like, it's just tough. And
they lost to the Spurs in the West Finals that year.
Yeah. And Russ wasn't great in that series, but he wasn't terrible. And he was amazing against the Clippers and got them through that. Well, helped get them through that series. He was great in that game 7 against the Grizzlies. I know that for a fact. He had like 30 and 15.
He did kick Mike Conley ass that day.
Ron, you mad?
Yeah, I don't.
You guys are disgusting, bro.
Why?
I think
because we're exploring the idea of better off-ball players than Russell Westbrook. We're discussing
but worse players.
I think the issues on I think that well, Kyrie.
You said Jalen Brunson and Kyrie.
No, yeah. I was thinking about
Ron, turn your camera off for a second. Let me just see something. I just want to see something for a sec.
Nah, I like how my camera is.
Nah, okay,
yeah,
cool.
I like how my camera is.
Because there's a reason why I brought up Jalen Brunson. He was on the screen for about a good 5 minutes while your ass was off the camera.
Shout out JB. You know what? JB, Finals MVP. Salute to you. You're still not as good as Russell Westbrook. That's that. Like, I don't. Yeah, you did what you did, and you know what? KD and Jalen Brunson would be fantastic, and I actually do think that they would win a championship that year. But
That's
you know
why
what?
We're having a discussion.
But you know what? KD and Russell Westbrook would have won a championship that year too if somebody would have held up to their end of the bargain. The last 3 games of that series.
Well, we're talking about 2014, not 16. But
we ain't talking about 16.
This shit trying to get that show off. I respect it.
I'm always gonna get that off because you guys. The reason why I get this off is because you guys always say Russell Westbrook is the reason KD didn't win. when there was times where KD is the reason why Russell Westbrook didn't
We
win.
don't say that Russell Westbrook is the reason
I
why
think KD gets about as much slander for that series
as he should.
We're talking about that series, but I'm just talking about in general though. I'm like for us, even in 14, to be like, well, who else do we put on that team for Kevin Durant to win a championship? All right, let me do the same thing. Who else do we put on that team for Russell Westbrook to win a championship?
I'm on your side. I don't think they were the problem. I think those two were the only solutions, to be honest. The rest of the roster just wasn't good enough, in my opinion.
That's where I'm going with it, Ron.
KD benefited heavily from having Russell Westbrook next to him, and I think KD would agree with that statement. In the playoffs, there was a night and day difference when Kevin Durant played without Russell and played with him in terms of the efficiency stuff. His shot quality was way better when he played next to Russell Westbrook. And that's in part because KD's not a point guard. So if you have him playing off of a point guard, he's going to look better. That's why I would like Chris Paul. I think that makes sense. Putting him next to Kyrie as his point guard, no disrespect to Kyrie. It's just a different dynamic. And Kyrie is a better shooter than Russ, for sure. But now we're just asking KD to do more initiating. That's why that Brooklyn team, Kyrie and KD, James Harden, Kyrie, and KD, where James Harden can be their point guard. I like that. That's like KD's gonna need a point guard, and Golden State was a little bit different because their system was like the point guard by motion instead of, but like that you still need to give KD some level of advantage. He's not just give the ball to KD, move out the way, and let him go get buckets. Like he can do that, but that's not how you optimize Kevin Durant. And I think Russell Westbrook took a lot of the creation burden off of Kevin Durant, and it was a really good duo. That's why, like statistically, they were always better with those two on the court, always, regardless of how people feel about Russell Westbrook's play style. Which is why Russell Westbrook's good, man. No, that's it. He's a good player.
I'm just thinking about, the logic that you say that we always say that it's about Russ killing them, when in reality, they just wasn't. So in 13. You guys can fact check this for me if I'm not mistaken. In 13, that's when you lose Russ. Russ didn't play in the Memphis series, if I'm not mistaken.
I just want to be clear about something, Cho.
Right.
In between 2012 and 2015, Kevin Durant produced a better net rating by himself without Russell Westbrook than he did with Russell Westbrook.
Playoffs? Just asking.
Regular season.
Okay.
For 3 straight years. I don't think
Ron, was he better? Was he better without Russ?
He wasn't worse without him.
I think my point was about winning championships.
Yeah,
we're talking almost 3,000 minutes. Okay, we're not talking about a small sample size.
But in 2014, Ron, they just wasn't better than San Antonio. They weren't. They were not better than San Antonio. They weren't going to beat them. And in 2015, I think that's when KD got hurt, if I'm not mistaken. I think KD got hurt. 2015. So they weren't going to win there. So that wasn't a Russ problem. And then in 2016, sure, I've been critical of Russ because of the decision making, but when you got Steph Curry starting the series the way he did, and then get going on a heater the way he did, same thing with Klay Thompson going on a heater the way he did. It's hard to overcome that. It's very hard to overcome that. That goes back to the logic of everything going your way and everything not going their way. So.
Just for fair defense, in the playoffs, obviously this flipped. Kevin Durant without Russell Westbrook on the court was bad in the playoffs. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just think like this team will ever be one of my biggest what ifs, KD and Russ. And I absolutely think that they were a championship caliber team. I think if, we do the Doctor Strange and we run that universe back 10 out of 10 times, I think they 100% leave. Well, I think 6 or 7 out of 10 times they leave with the ring. Part of it was, Russ hurt his knee. Russ got hurt in the playoffs. KD got hurt that year with the foot injury. It was a little bit of bad injury history. And then, they just lost to some good teams. But I think they could have beat that Spurs team. I think they should have beat that Warriors team. And so, it just, everything happened how it happened. But I 100% believe they were top 3 team in the league throughout that stretch, every year in that stretch. And really, I think in 16 they was the best team in the league. Ron, I think they were that good.
So if we're having a median, and to your point, I'm shifting this because if we're having a median, if I take Like what era am I taking? What version of Shaq am I taking? And what version of Chamberlain am I taking? And where are we putting these guys? Because I'm not taking Shaq and putting him in 1962. Because I don't think that's
unfair.
fair, to be honest. To be honest with you, I'm not taking
Unfair.
2000 Shaq and putting him in 1962. But I'd also like 1962 Chamberlain. Like I want to put him in like 1998. Like I'd like to do that. I'd like to put. I'd like to put.
Well,
19...
Wilt said he'd average 75.
Yeah, he was crazy as hell with that. Yeah, he said that. He said his actual words was I'd average close to 60 to 70 points. He said that he'd do that. It's just nuts to me, but
I actually think Shaq would be worse in the 60s, contrary to popular belief. But
is it because of the rule change?
You weren't allowed to initiate contact as an offensive player. You just weren't. That's not an opinion. It's facts. That's why Wilt Chamberlain had to shoot so many fadeaways. So the physical imposition that Shaq has, that's such a superpower in the 2000s and 90s, isn't the same advantage in the 60s. Now he's still going to be running faster than everyone and jumping higher, so he's still going to be amazing. But relative to like which era would Shaq get the most out of his impact, I think it was the era in which he played it. Like he'd still be maybe the best player in the league in the 60s. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you ask me which era does Shaq provide the most impact, I think it's the 2000s. Wilt, I think, probably would have been better when he was allowed to impose himself physically more, as opposed to having to play more of a finesse game because the rules said you had to play a finesse game.
So if Wilt played in the 80s?
Or
the 80s probably would have been the best time for Wilt. Because the 90s, the game slowed down a little bit too much. You're not getting the same level of advantage. But the 80s, yeah, I could see that.
So can I put, because I do like 62 Chamberlain, to your point, with the physicality. That's like 22 or 24-year-old Chamberlain against 95 Shaq. Like, what do those two guys look like?
Meeting in the middle, chill. That's in the 80s. You put them both in their peak in the 80s. It's still a big man's league. It's a big man's game.
Jabbar, Olajuwon, Moses, Robert Parrish. Like it's still a bunch of big guys running around. That's really good. I know Sam Donaldson. I know that name sounds foreign to you guys, but he was the starting center for the Dallas Mavericks. They kept running into the Lakers in the Western Conference Championship.
I have a hypothetical, Joe.
Bill Laimbeer, guys like that.
I think you might appreciate. What if I change one thing about the 90s? What if I drop LeBron's Heat into the 90s? From 1990 to 1999, I let the trio of Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James run through the league. How many rings do they get, and how many rings does Jordan not get in this situation?
Do we get a healthy Wade the whole time, or do we get
like which Wade am I getting? Like which
we getting 2011 Wade for a decade?
How about this?
Because they beat the 91 Bulls.
You get 2011 Wade for the first 3 years.
Okay.
You get 2012 Wade for the next 3 years. You get 2013, 2014 for the last 4 years. So we just stretch out that entire peak into a 10-year stretch.
Yeah. 14 Wade for the late
Mars, you don't think that 14 Wade could handle the 99 Spurs?
I just want to know how many.
I think we can beat them with Mario Elie and Sean Elliott. I think we can beat them.
Twin Towers at the rim, and you go Wade and Bron trying to get downhill. Man, I don't know, man. I don't think they beat the 99 Spurs with a 14 Wades. They gotta get their chips early. They gotta win early.
So they're gonna win the 2 Hakeem chips.
No,
but that's 2012 Wade at that point, right?
2013. That's
So 2011 is the first 3 years.
94.
So that's Michael's 3
to 92. So 90 to 92 or 91 to 93.
91 to 90. So 90 91.
Let's go 90 season. To 99.
Okay, so 1990 91.
That's the 10 years.
We start with the
Pistons first championship.
Okay, so that's 89 90. No. We're gonna go in the 90s. We're gonna start 90 91. That's the Bulls. All the way to 1990.
He ain't trying to take away the Pistons chip. I see what you're doing.
All the way to 98 99. That's the era. From 1991 to 98 99. That's
9 years. But okay,
that's the decade.
Sure.
Right. That's the decade. All right. So with that being said, I got Wade from 90 91 to 1991-93. That's when I got him. I got 2011 Wade. So I got to deal with the Bulls and in those 3 years. 2011 Wade.
The Bulls and the Knicks are probably their
And-
biggest competitors
and the
in
Knicks.
the East at that time.
Yep. So I got to deal with the Bulls and the Knicks. And I think that they get past both of them. I definitely think they beat the Knicks. Even though Patrick Ewing is going to be a fucking problem.
So
Holy
that's
shit.
another problem. This is the issue. Though,
Ewing's
with
gonna
the
be a
Heat.
huge problem.
The Heat were so reliant on scoring at the rim, putting them in the 90s, where there's always going to be someone at the rim. Like, respect to Chris Bosh. He ain't dragging Ewing away from the rim. Like, it's just.
Well, if he does drag Ewing away from the rim, that leaves Charles Oakley because, again, we're playing in the 90s. So the rules are different, where you're cleaning out the whole left side of the floor or cleaning out the whole right side of the floor. I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit different. And Chris Bosh is going to stretch the defense. He is going to get Charles Oakley away from the basket, right? He's going to get Ewing away from the basket. That's 100% going to happen. And James is a downhill guy. James is a downhill guy getting to the rim. Even with the physicality that they have, I think he can overcome that. So can Wade. And I think that what Wade's going to have to do, because especially that Wade, I think he's going to be way more reliant on that mid-range jump shot because of the physicality of the Knicks, because of the physicality of the Bulls. And I think that he can be good. Now, Mars, we got a problem. So now 2012 Wade is dealing with Sam Cassell and Kenny Smith and Vernon
This
Maxwell.
is where I think they're guaranteed to win because the 3-point line gets shortened.
It does get shortened. Yep.
I don't see how they lose in the mid 90s, to be honest.
I just think that Olajuwon might be too much for them. I do.
Hakeem gonna give them 600 points.
I think Olajuwon might be too much for them. And to your point about shortening the 3-point line, the volume, like Wade is going to shoot the long ball, but is he going to shoot the long ball at the clip that Sam Cassell is, at the clip that Vernon Maxwell is, at the clip that Drex is, right? At the clip that these guys are going to Kenny Smith, is he going to shoot the long ball at that clip, even if it is shorter?
They're gonna
the Heat
shoot
got
enough,
shooters, dude.
regardless of the percentage. They're gonna shoot enough.
Like Shane
you got
Chris Bosh
Shane
can shoot.
Battier. They
First
end
of all,
up getting.
Let's
they
start
end up
there.
getting
Chris
Ray
Bosh
Allen,
is a
Chris Bosh.
long mid-range demon. He can shoot.
That's
Braun
I
could
get
also
with that.
make shots, whether we like it or not.
Especially during that
Yeah,
time.
Shane Battier, Chris Bosh, Mario Chalmers, Mike Miller was on those teams.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had guys who can make threes, and then Bron and Wade is like the catalyst of everything downhill, creating everything. And then depending on which Bron you get as a jump shooter, can also make shots. And the deep twos that you guys are talking about in a short and 3-point line, they're now threes. So
I don't think
still
that
adding that.
I think they split with the Rockets. I don't think the Rockets beat them both times. I think that they get one of those Rockets ones, maybe 95, because I feel like the Rockets, that gauntlet that they had to go through, I think that might have been too much for them, dealing with the Heat in the NBA championship with that particular group. And then now it gets tricky because if we're going from 90,
hold on, no, but before we get to 96, chill. Yeah,
they're not winning with 2014 Wade. It's over.
They had in that first 5 years. I would say in that first 5 years they get 2 to 3. They get
That's
2
why
to 3.
they got to get their rings early because once Wade falls off, it's fried. It was just
Jordan gonna get one, and I think Hakeem gets one. And I mean, really, I think Jordan gets 2, but they gonna go back and forth. The Heat get 2 to 3 in the first 5 years. After that, we could just hang it up. It really ain't too much to talk about after that.
Because if Dennis Rodman did all that shit, Larry Bird, I don't even want to tell you what he's gonna do with Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, in the second three-peat.
No, he
it's a different Rodman. It's a different Rodman by that point.
He's still checking Bron.
Yeah. No, Pippen is on Bron.
Yes, Scotty's going to deal with LeBron James.
Pippen is also a better defender than Rodman by that point.
No.
Much better.
Dennis checking Bron.
Dennis is going to be.
Who's going to deal with Bosh then, Ron? Luke Longley?
Yeah. You're not worried about Bosh.
Well, no. If anything,
I'm
being sarcastic.
If Phil Jackson is smart, he just plays crew coach and puts Rodman at the 5.
But that's the problem that we have, Miles, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to get into these individual matchups because that just sounds so hawkish. But with that being said, Phil Jackson was not one of these guys to double. So when James gets going, this is 2013 James. This is 2012,
If
2013
he gets
James, right?
If he
So
gets cut.
it's I think Scotty would I think Scotty would have his hands full with James. Holy shit! I think Scotty would have his hands full with James.
I mean, everyone does.
Pretty much designed to
I
guard
mean,
him,
I don't
so.
think he's ever had a day in the office like that. I don't know if he
Never.
ever had a day in the office with
Never.
LeBron James.
He had a day in the office every day in practice.
He wasn't dealing with Jordan. Mm-mm.
It's clamping Jordan.
No.
I mean, that's still a different type of day in the office. Still a different
For sure, for sure.
But yeah, once you get to 13, 14 Wades, their winning days are over, in my opinion. But the early 90s, when you get the amazing D Wades, I think they can win 3 out of 5, maybe 4 if I want to be optimistic. But 3 out of 5, maybe. Yeah.
So I think they beat the 91 Bulls. I think they beat the 91 Bulls.
So they lost to the Mavericks in 2011, but they're going to beat the Chicago Bulls of the early 90s. Please, God, help me. No.
Yes.
I mean, I think if you replay the Mavs versus Heat series 10 times, I think the Heat win about 8 of them. So
yes.
just because they happen to lose in our timeline doesn't mean I think they lose to the Mavs every time they play it. The 2011 Heat were a championship team.
Adjustment, but you're also talking about an adjustment of 3 players who've never really played together, running their first playoff run together. And that's going to be the case for 3 years.
Season is for. Yeah, that's what the regular season is for, figuring it out.
I think that they beat the 91
Still
Bulls.
think you got to go through the playoffs a few times, dude. I still think you got to do that. Like I've gone through the history of all NBA champions, and the vast majority of them have a lot of content.
The only outlier is the Blazers. So the only outlier is the Blazers. They won in their first postseason run.
Blazers and Celtics, 2008.
Oh yeah, the 08 Celtics. Yeah, kind of the 83 Sixers if you just include the Moses Malone edition, but I would say no because they were just in the finals. But I guess maybe, but that would be like the same thing with like the KD Warriors, but that's only one edition. But yeah, I also think once again you're making a team from 20 years in the future play. Back then, they just have like major advantages analytically in terms of how they play, which is kind of hard to just make up the gap for. Which is why I'm not a big fan of time traveling teams for the most part.
I don't like it either.
If you play 30 years in the future, you're going to win off the fact that you shoot 43s and the other team shoots 6. Like regardless if you're a better team or not, your shot quality is just better. Which is why I kind of try to avoid most of those hypotheticals because we're going to end up with me saying that like last year's Hornets would beat the 87 Lakers. And it's like, I guess it's just math for that.
I think the 87 Lakers, I mean, you can fact check me on this one. I think they average like 3 threes a game for the season.
That's attempt. That might be attempts, not even makes. Like, and the Hornet shot 44. Like, just logistically of pure mathematics.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for you to outscore a team when they shoot 43s and you shoot 3, regardless of how much you have a talent advantage, which is why I'm not a big fan of the hypothetical error swapping of teams. Players, I think
do know
players
twos
have
are more
skill sets with
efficient than
teams.
threes, right? Like in today's NBA, you do know twos are more efficient than threes.
In today's NBA, back then it wasn't, because back then teams shot about 50% on twos because a lot of their shots were mid-range shots. So yeah, once again, same mathematical equation. The Hornets were shooting 37% on threes back then. That's way more efficient than the average 2-pointer back then, simply because so many twos back then were mid-range shots. Today, we've finally got to the point where twos are more efficient than threes again because of what the 3 opens up. Back then, they didn't have that advantage. So now you've just got a team shooting a bunch of threes in an era where they're still shooting a bunch of mid-range shots. The points per possession value is just going to trump it substantially. It's just
Mars, can I argue
that?
that? Mars, I think I can argue that the Hornets, even with them, because again, you can fact check me on this one. I think the Lakers that year in '87, I think they shot like 3 or 4 threes a game, something like that, and made like 2 or some shit like that. But if we're playing in that
5.5 threes a game,
okay, so they
made 2 threes a game.
Okay, so they shot 6 threes and made 2 of them. Okay, sure. With that, with that being said, if I'm playing in a league where this team is shooting 40 plus threes, okay, so we got to guard the long ball line more. Michael Cooper's got to guard at the long ball line. Magic's got to guard at the long ball line more, right? Byron Scott's got to guard at the long ball line more. With that being said, that's also long shots, like a lot of misses and a lot of long shots. What was their strength? the Showtime Lakers, they got up and down the floor.
Transition.
Yep, they got up and down the floor. So they could use that to their advantage. In fact, we might be baiting you guys into shooting the long ball. We want you to shoot the long ball because when you shoot the long ball, now y'all got to get back in transition, which most of you guys are not doing that. And I don't want to just use Charlotte. I'm using a bunch of different teams. If you're going to shoot that many threes, that's to our advantage because long rebounds lead to transition. We the best in the league at that. We the best in the league.
I think the points per possession argument is just too far in favor of the modern team. The gap in efficiency per possession is too great for a team that takes a high volume of quality threes and generates a high volume of quality threes versus a team that consistently settles for mid-range shots and rim attempts. And to Mars's point, and I totally understand this, it is the threat of the three-point shot that opens up easier paint touches. Again, like, would we be able to give the Lakers 2 years to adjust to the three-point rules and work on their game? That's a different hypothetical. But if we just drop this Hornets team, it honestly would be like dropping Michael Phelps into a swimming pool in 1970. It'd be like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's doing, but I've never seen anything like it. I get it.
All right, y'all. Salute to everybody that is in here. Y'all already know the drill. Man, like that video, subscribe, comment on all platforms. Once again, we have the PC Chat Awards next Friday. And we need one favor from you guys. I need you guys to let us know who you would nominate or a couple people that you would nominate for the biggest chat goofy. We have all the other nominations are set. We just need some nominees for the biggest chat goofy. Tomorrow, we will release the polls and you guys will be able to go vote on every single award. So be on the lookout for that. And once again, next Friday, Chat Awards. It's going to be crazy. Mark your calendars. Get ready for it. But all right, we got a bunch of super chats. The first one is $20 from Teddy Hart. My man Teddy Hart said prime and peak are two different things. Picture a mountain. The prime is the snow cap. The peak is the tippy top point. MJ snow cap is probably 87 to 96. His peak, best mix of skills and athleticism, in my opinion, is 90 to 92. For LeBron James, it's harder to gauge.
Bro, use my analogy in a super chat. Nice. Appreciate it.
Did he?
Yeah, that's exactly my analogy that I made about 4 years ago. It's actually a clip somewhere of me saying the exact same thing.
Thank you, Teddy Hart. Now I completely understand what peak and prime is. Thanks. Appreciate that.
I think peak Jordan is 88 to 93.
Wait, did you say you got cooked by your own take from 4 years ago?
That didn't get cooked. That doesn't counter anything I said earlier.
It does not.
Like, at all.
In fact, it compounds everything that he said.
Like, literally all I said was that peaks can be different lengths of time. I never said that it was a whole prime. Bird's prime was from like day 1 until 88. His peak to me was from about 85 to 88. 2 different lengths of time. It doesn't change anything I said. Bron's prime is from about 05 to 2020 until Solomon Hill. That's his prime. His peak is probably, for me, 09 to 13. But then I don't know what you do with his second stint, Cavs. So it's like, Bron is weird, but Kobe's peak is 01 to 13. I mean, prime, 01 to 13. His peak to me is 06 to 08 or 09. Once again, all I said was everyone has different lengths of peaks. I said Bird had a 4-year peak, in my opinion, and you blew a gasket. Like, I ain't saying he had a peak that was 10 years. I said it was a 4-year peak, and usually I say players have 3-year peaks. Like, ooh, 1 extra year. Some people have 2-year peaks. Like,
some people have 1-year peaks.
I said this when you I said this when you were off the show.
I heard that
yes, like I just think that you brought up 88 because he got clamped by Dennis Rodman and didn't have a very efficient.
You said no one stopped Birds. That's the only reason I brought it up. And then Ron was like, "Yeah, that was nasty, Almaz." Like I brought it up for no reason. I brought it up because the statement "No one has ever stopped Larry Bird" was made. So I brought up the instance off the top of my head of someone stopping Larry Bird. I didn't just bring it up to hate on Birds. It was relevant to the discussion that was being had, and it made sense, and I was still correct. Dennis Rodman stopped Larry Bird. I was right. That's not nasty. That's me correcting a statement that was made that is not true.
Let me put it this way. No one stopped Larry Bird prior to the age of 30. How's that? Cool. Okay.
Cool.
There we go.
But once again, we don't need to rehash it. I know what I said. I know I was correct. but we can agree to disagree.
All right, Frank C sent through $25 and said, "Good talks today. Off season always has the best talks." You guys been enjoying off season?
No, I think you've been terrible with the topics, but I do like general off
Trash.
I do like discussing like the historic players. We don't really get to do that during the season because there's so many games on, but I do like discussing historic players and how good X, Y, and Z was. Now, not the biggest fan of how would they look in different eras, but I am a fan of how good players are. So I think if we get the topics right, looking at you, Mr. Host.
Garbage.
I gave y'all good topics. Y'all just don't know what to do with it.
Trash. What do you mean? We know
How
exactly
would
what to
Steph
do
look
with
without the 3-point shot? What an amazing topic.
That was a good topic.
Suck, Ron.
Just let somebody else choose the topics, Ron.
No,
Teamwork.
y'all sit back,
Hell.
take the topics you get.
You know what? I can see
Sit
why
back,
Russell
take the
Westbrook your
topics
favorite
you
player.
get.
What would Kyrie
Russell
Irving
Westbrook
look like
your favorite
without that
player.
handle?
Trey Young, your favorite player. You just like ball hogs.
You guys
okay?
do know why that got selected as a topic?
I don't know
because and I told Ox to tell you guys this. I don't know if he mentioned it because it went uber viral on Twitter. So it's like kind of a cross promotion. We had this post that went crazy all throughout.
He told us that.
Okay, so that's why it got selected as a topic. And on top of that, that wasn't just the topic. You got, if we go back and you guys look at all the topics I sent you, do you guys want me to go back and look at the day?
No,
I sent you guys 6 different topics.
Yeah.
So if you guys got caught on one topic, it's because you guys got caught yapping about one thing. So like
we didn't even talk about the Atlanta Hawks trade.
Hey, what today?
No, yesterday. I mean, but if you were a
I was
definitely bring it up.
I wasn't here yesterday. And today we got caught in a whole whirlwind of peak versus prime. So here we are, 30 minutes left in the show. We can't get to it because
we got 32 super chats and we got a trade that we didn't talk about on the panel.
No, who cares about that trade?
And also Ryan Clark got fired from ESPN and I don't like it.
I don't like it neither.
I like Ryan Clark. He honestly, like, I know we're Player's Choice here, and shout outs to Player's Choice. The Pivot is an amazing podcast, bro.
Great show. Yes,
it's so good. And Ryan Clark is awesome. I'm not even a football guy.
He's still gonna be able to get that off though, right?
Of course.
He
owns it.
Yeah, we still get Ryan Clark. We still get the Pivot. He's just not on ESPN.
It seems like every year, like they fire a bunch of people.
Yeah, because they gotta pay Pat McAfee. That's why.
Which is dumb.
All right, well, Worldwide Mace Television sent through $20 and said 07-08 Boston Celtics versus the 2012-2013 Heat. Both big threes are in their primes. Teams going head-to-head in 7 games. Who comes out on top?
That Heat team was just a massively overimposing team offensively. I mean, Wade was still Wade. Like, he didn't fall off the cliff just yet. Like, he was still awesome in 2013. That was the year that they won 28 straight games, and they won 66 games that year. That 2007, 2008 Boston Celtic team, like, we talk about them like all of these guys are still in their peak. I mean, KG on the other side of who he used to be, he was 32 at that point. I think Paul Pierce was definitely in his prime. I still think KG was in his prime, but he was on the other side of who he was.
He was well removed from his peak at that point.
Yes, he was.
5 years removed from his absolute apex as a basketball player.
He was not that level of player anymore.
But he reinvented himself, which is a symptom of many GOATs, right? Like, if we're talking about the 35 to 40 greatest players of all time, most of them found a way to reinvent themselves. That's when we talk about KD, Bird, Michael. It's weird to talk about peaks and primes because there were different versions of these players where they just leverage what they had at that moment. Michael Jordan in the late 90s, obviously leveraging a lot more of the strength, the post-up stuff. Michael Jordan in the late 80s, leveraging a lot more of the twitch and the downhill attack. LeBron James, same thing. He's figured out how to shoot the basketball at a very high clip, think the game at a very elite clip. But early in the late 2000s to early 2010s, we're talking about like a very different downhill attacker. Same thing with Kevin Durant. Same thing with Larry Bird, as I mentioned. Like, same thing with Magic Johnson. Like, just all these guys, they just figure it out. That's why I have always a hard time dismissing the idea that any of these all-time greats would ever be watched in any era, because it seems to me like they always figured it out. After an injury, they figured it out. After the league changed, they figured it out. Rule changes, they figured it out. They just figured it out. You're great. You're great.
Ron, I think that the separator is going to be in the post because I feel like they got in 13 particularly. I feel like they got. I think Mike Miller's still on that team in 13. Shane Battier is on that team in 13. So the long ball shooter that Ray Allen is, I think we can supplement that with both of those two guys. Shane Battier can knock down the long ball. Mike Miller can also knock down the long ball. So I think we can supplement that in that area. I think where the problem we're going to have is in the post with both Kendrick Perkins and KG. Like I don't know if we have enough muscle in the post to deal with those two guys. But we definitely got enough on the wings with James as a playmaker. We definitely got enough on the wings with Wade as a downhill guy at that point. He's still getting to the rim with some of the best of them. We didn't get to 2014 yet. Mario Chalmers can knock down an open shot. I don't think he's better than Rondo, but I think he can knock down an open shot and keep defenses honest. The problem that we're going to have is that gap in the middle in the post where that Boston Celtic team and that front line is going to be hell to deal with. But I think James, Wade, I feel like I think they're that good still at that time, and we got enough to supplement offensively. I think that they could beat them. Yes.
All right, the next super chat I got is from Pimp named Slickback. Pimp said, I'm not saying he would be a star or anything because he was pretty much just a role player. But chill, how do you think Muggsy Bogues would play in today's NBA? I'm thinking of him on like an Indiana off the bench.
No, he'd be non-existent. He's too small. He's too small to play today because of the mismatch hunting that they do. He's too small. We can't hide him.
Nate Robinson's too small too?
Who?
Nate Robinson. Is he too small?
Yeah. And he don't defend well enough.
Earl Boykins too small?
Yep.
All these guys below 5'10",
like 5'3", 5'3", 5'5". Yeah, them dudes. I think that they're way too small to. I don't think they have enough offense to supplement being as small as they are. No.
I think the smallest guy who could probably still maybe have a chance in today's NBA is probably TJ Ford. Prime, peak, whatever TJ Ford.
Yeah.
5'10". I could see it, but that's about as small as I'm willing to go.
So you don't think Isaiah Thomas could play?
Yeah, him too. Those two. Because they could be.
How big is Isaiah Thomas legit?
5'9".
5'9", 5'10".
Oh, Isaiah Thomas
5'8".
is 5'8".
He was that small, Ron?
Isaiah Thomas is tiny.
And he averaged 30 points per game.
He averaged 30 a game. I mean, I've been to a Celtic game where he was on the crew, but I didn't get to see him like eye level, so I don't know how big he actually was. Like, that's small, Ron. That's a little dude. And the NBA in 2016, 2017, way different than what it is today. Way different.
All right, my man Jason Grills. Shout out my man Grillionaire. He said basketball peak is when a player or team performs at their absolute best with skills, conditioning, and focus fully aligned.
Like that 2013 Heat team. I think that's the peak of their powers. I think that was the best of them 4 years with Wade, Bosh, and James. I think that was the best version of that Miami Heat team in terms of everything. Defense, offense, rebounding, transition, coaching. I think that was the best version of them.
I think I'm going to go 12 just because, D-Wade. They might have been more cohesive. They might have had a little bit more time in 13, but D-Wade between 12 and 13 is a big difference.
It's unfortunate they didn't do it sooner, Cho, because 2009 seems to be like a really sweet spot for all three players, and they just happened to spend it apart. Yeah. But like you look at LeBron in 2009, you look at what Chris Bosh was doing in 2009. Holy shit, what Chris Bosh was doing in 2009. And you see like D-Wade at his absolute best in 2009. Like put those three players together, you might have the greatest team of all time.
But then somebody got to take a back seat though. Somebody's got to supplement their role. Like already, I'm not going to get 24 and 8 Chris Bosh. I'm not going to get league leading scorer Dwayne Wade. And if I'm not mistaken, in 2009, didn't James average like 30 a game in 2009, something crazy like that?
Sure, I don't think it would be anybody taking a step back. I think the game would just come so easy for everybody that it would be like the numbers would look like they're taking a step back, but it would really just be D-Wade and Bron getting downhill all game, and then Chris Bosh filling in the gaps, them being demons in transition, in the passing lanes, getting steals, blocks, all of that. It would just be a nightmare. But I
Bosh
don't.
got a
I
lot
don't think.
stronger that year too. Like he was
What,
like
09?
physically, yeah, like 2009, 2010, Chris Bosh was like a lot physically stronger. By the time he got to the Heat, he actually lost a lot of weight and he kind of cut back, right? Probably to accommodate more of a stretch big role. But I really don't mind the idea of like Chris Bosh being more of a power player, you know, in those situations.
Well, he was if I'm not mistaken, Penn, you can attest to this because you probably know more about this. Wasn't he a double guy? Like he was, I think he was a 20, 22, 23 and 10 guy that year, 21 and 10, something like that in 2009. So he could rebound.
He's like pretty much like a 24 and 10 guy. Like he was like his box production was crazy. Like
he could rebound, he could play on the block. Like
he
could
was
knock
just
down the
slow.
mid-range.
He was slow to process. Like I feel like what separates Chris Bosh from me, and this is why like some people say I'm like the biggest Chris Bosh hater or disrespecter. I don't think he was on the level of Rasheed Wallace. I don't think he was on the level of Chris Webber. I think like among all the power forwards that I watched throughout my lifetime, he's definitely not top 10. And some people find that disrespectful, but like to me, Pau Gasol, KG, Tim Duncan, like it's a very power forward heavy era, right? And he's kind of on the bottom tier of that to me. But if you take the creation load out of it, now he just becomes a stretch and a finisher.
Yep.
Now it's a very, very different equation. He's in a much better situation for him because he was a very good defender.
All right, the next super chat is from, and it is $10. Teddy Hart chiming in yet again. Teddy Hart said Bird versus Dr. J peak. Side note, it pisses me off that Larry Bird is a consensus top 10 while Doc has to settle for around 15 to 20 when their career resume, yes, I include ABA, are identical. Plus, Dr. J has more longevity.
Joe, this is a you topic.
Dr. J does not have more longevity than Larry Bird. That's not true. That's number one. Number two, their careers are not identical. Bird was the best player in the game for multiple years. Doc was never better than Jabal, ever. He was never better than him.
Would Bird have been better?
I mean,
than
yeah,
Jabbar?
Bird wouldn't have been better than Larry either, or than Kareem either.
And again, but the point he's making is that including ABA, even when he was in the ABA, he still wasn't better than what Jabbar was in the NBA. So if he played in the NBA during that time when he was in the ABA, he wasn't better than Jabbar. Meanwhile, Bird was the best player in the NBA for multiple years. I can't ever remember saying that Doc was the best player in the league when Moses was running around, when Jabbar was running around, when Bird was running around. I think Doc was the most dynamic because he was the next version of guys like Elgin Baylor, like the Skywalkers and guys like that. But with that being said, when you're talking about having an identical career, no, they didn't. I mean, he did not. Doc was not the player that Bird was all around. Like he was not the bucket getter. He was not the distributor. Doc was limited offensively, contrary to popular belief. Like
what's
Doc,
bigger, Cho? The gap between Larry and Doc, or the gap between Larry and LeBron? Because obviously, I think you obviously have LeBron above Larry.
Sure.
So I'm just like, what's bigger? Just want to get.
I'm comfortable saying that Doc. I mean, I'm comfortable saying Bird was better than Doc. Like, I think that there's a sizable gap between Bird and Doc.
But there's not a sizable gap between Larry and LeBron?
I think that there's a gap between Bird and James, but I think the gap between Bird and Doc is bigger.
Damn.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think that's a clip.
One of the main reasons why, Ron, and I'll say this because a lot of people think it but won't say it. One of the main reasons why we didn't give Bird the respect that he deserved during that time was because he ain't look like us. That was it.
You're right. He doesn't look like us, Joe.
He didn't look like us. And that was the problem. And it wasn't until later on that we started to realize how awesome Bird was and stopped looking at what he looked like and started looking at him as a basketball player. Because I know I was one of those people that quietly I was like, he better than Magic. But I couldn't say that out loud because of where I was. Like I was Team Magic and Team Moses and Team Jabbar. But the more I watched Bird and the more I watched Magic, I was like, he better than him. But I kept that to myself.
Nobody disrespected white players more than Larry Bird. Just want to say that. He got offended when he seen a white player on him. I don't know a lot of black players who were offended to see white players on him, but like Larry Bird was legitimately like, "How dare you? How dare you guard me with a white guy?" That's pretty cool.
Shout out Larry, man. The next super chat is from Evan Lomack. Evan sent through $9.99 and said, "Who do you guys think would win out of these matchups? AD versus Karl Malone, Chris Paul versus Gary Payton, Ray Allen versus Monty Williams, and Rashid versus Cat."
Rashid, Ray, Chris Paul, 80. Wow, shit. Yeah.
I'll take Malone. Damn, that Chris Paul Gary Payton one is something else.
I know who I'm rocking with.
Karl Malone over AD head to head. Karl Malone is getting like put in a body bag.
No,
unless Anthony Davis gets injured.
Nope. I'm gonna take Malone over Kate. I'm gonna take Malone over AD, Chris Paul and Gary Payton. Sheesh.
Yeah, that was tough.
I'm gonna take GP. Ray Allen and Monty Williams ain't even a conversation.
Yeah, that's a fact. I don't know if he meant to say Monty Williams. I think he might have. I don't know who he meant to say. I don't think it was supposed to be Monty Williams though.
And I'm taking Sheed over. And I'm taking Sheed over Cat.
Yep.
I got Sheed over Cat too.
She was like that, man.
All right, next up, Drago FC. Drago FC sent through $10 and said, "Chill, just lying. I think Bill Russell and KG are better than you do. I just think time traveling players 30 years forward would be a difficult adjustment. Also, today's players compete with more people."
That's just dumb to say that today's players compete with more people. That just means that the league is, just because there's more people, that doesn't mean it's better. Just because there's more. Like if there's less players, the talent level is definitely increased because these are the best players. When you bring more players in, I think you can water it down because there's plenty of guys in the league today that you would see and be like, yo, this guy is garbage. Or this guy is not very good. When you got 10 teams in the league, when you got 13 teams in the league, this is the best of the best right here. So I'm not trying to hear that. That's number one. Number two, he always coming at me when it comes to older players. Always got some slick shit to say about Isaiah Thomas this or John Stockton that. Get the hell out of here with that. I think that this dude is better than this dude. Meanwhile, you think John Stockton is whack. Meanwhile, you think that you literally just said Magic and Bird are ass in today's game. You said that. Those are your words. You said that they ass in today's game. So, man, give me a break with that bullshit trying to clean it up. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, Burgic and Magic will absolutely go crazy in today's game. Absolutely. But the next super chat is from Dre Knows Ball. My man Dre said, "Y'all had Kobe versus Ant-Man in the graphic. Do y'all understand what peak 06 to 08 Kobe would do to him? Throw the damn towel. Continuing my greatest peaks, KD 2012 to 2014 or SGA 2024 to 26. KD battled Miami Bron."
Yeah, giving KD.
You think that Kobe would destroy Anthony Edwards?
Yep, I do.
Like straight eat his lunch.
Chill. God, the gap is so big.
If you think that he would destroy him, like what's the gap between Anthony Edwards and SGA?
It's big.
Like, is it a sizable gap, Ron, or is it just a gap? Like, are you just comfortable saying SGA is better than Ant? There's a difference.
It's a good. I think that gap narrowed last year, though. I think part of it could be playoffs for me right now because the last time I seen both of them, and I know Ant was hurt, but SGA just didn't give me everything that I wanted to see from him, and even in the playoffs last year. But I'll say it's a good gap between him and Ant.
I'm asking that because
the gap is also defensively chill. Like
yeah.
Kobe's such a better defender than Anthony Edwards at this stage.
Even in 06?
Yeah.
even in 06.
I
know
don't know
people
where y'all get this notion that Kobe wasn't playing defense in 06 and 07 and in
It's
08.
because he wasn't one of the top 10 defenders and he kept making all defensive teams that people find a way to like completely overwrite history and just act like he was a bad defender. He wasn't a bad defender. He wasn't a top 10 defender. There were definitely guards who were better defenders than him, but he was still a much better defender than Anthony Edwards. Like Anthony Edwards basically didn't play defense this year.
No, he didn't. That's
not a good
and that's my
defender
problem
at
with
all.
Anthony Edwards. It's not that he can't play defense. My issue with Anthony Edwards is that he did not play defense this year. Like I've seen Anthony Edwards play defense, and I'm like, yo, there's way more to be desired with Anthony Edwards as a defender, and I did not get that.
Still, peak for peak, Kobe is way higher. Like best Kobe defensively I've ever seen, best Ant I've ever seen defensively. So the fact that Ant is not even trying on defense right now, he's not really locked in, he's not sprinting back, and he's not communicating. To me, that's a tragedy of outcomes, but that's not to take away from that Kobe was always a better defender, and also Kobe's bigger. So apart from saying Ant's a better shooter from three, what can you really say that Ant does better? Is he a better passer? No. Is he a better block player? No. He's more explosive.
Kobe is better than him. Kobe is better than him.
He's more explosive.
But
I'll give him that.
We know Kobe's better than Ant. That was never a discussion. Like that was never the title of the show is
He's destroying him.
Who we'd love to see play in the same era.
Destroying him.
I would love to see Kobe and Ant play against each other.
I would love to see that. That would be
like,
sick.
You just want to see Kobe have 55 points?
Yeah, Kobe's better, but it'd still be a fun matchup.
Yes, it would be. Yeah, I would love to see that. Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. The next super chat is from Why Is He Lying? Why Is He Lying said top 5 perimeter defender of all time, 6'10 or taller. Who y'all got? Top 5 perimeter defenders.
6'10 or taller? This guy sounds like he's an Andre. No, Karolinko wasn't that big, so I'm not.
Karolinko was about 6'9". I'm gonna give him.
Yeah,
6'10".
he was about 6'9".
I'm gonna give him
perimeter
6'10"
defenders.
just
How
for
many?
that.
How many perimeter defenders are 6'10"? That's awesome. like Derek McKee was a damn good perimeter defender. Let's see, perimeter defenders.
That's a good question.
I'd throw KG in there.
Tayshaun Prince was not 6'10". He was 6'9". So he wasn't that big.
Can we just adjust the question to 6'9" or above? Because I feel like there's a lot of guys. Jonathan Isaac.
At
Isaac at 6'10"-ish.
Jonathan Isaac for sure.
Bam Adebayo is pretty good.
At 16,
Ben Simmons. Shit.
Yeah,
Ben Simmons.
I can
But
get with Ben
it's
Simmons.
basically bigs that can guard perimeter play.
KG was also.
And you got a couple people. You got Ben Simmons, and then you got Jonathan Isaac.
Hey, you want to throw some Seattle love out here for certain Jaden McDaniels?
Yeah, Jaden for sure.
Is Jaden McDaniels a better perimeter defender than Bam?
No,
I thought Jaden was 6'10". Yeah, Jaden is a better. Or I thought he was 6. My bad. I thought he was 6'9".
he's 6'10".
You think he's a better perimeter defender than Bam, Ron?
Yeah. Bam is better interior and he's a stronger defender. But if you're talking about, he's not. Bam isn't putting what's his name, Jamal Murray in solitary confinement.
He did with Trae Young.
He's not
He put
picking him up.
He put Trae Young in jail.
Picking him up full court and doing that.
He put Trae Young in jail though.
Bam did not put Trae Young in jail.
100% that happened
No,
in 2020. I want to say in the play-in game in 2023, what Atlanta did was they ended up playing Cleveland and they beat them. And Trae Young was running off that pick and roll, and he had Jared Allen chasing him. Well, that shit did not work against Bam because Bam was running off that screen and chasing his ass off that screen and staying with him and staying in front of him, beating him to spots. Great recovery defender that Bam was. So that is not true, Ron.
He wasn't picking him up full court. Jaden McDaniels picked Jamal Murray up full court. Jamal Murray couldn't even get the ball across half court. Was hounding him. Like, what? It's not even, I don't even think that.
If we're doing straight 6'9" or above, I got Jonathan Isaac, Bam Adebayo, Ben Simmons, Scotty Barnes, and Tayshaun Prince.
Is
and
Scotty
J
legit
Mac
6'9" or is he 6'7"?
He's 6'9".
Is he?
Yeah, he's 6'8" and 3/4 barefoot. So he's pretty
That's
tall.
6'9". That's
He's
legit
6'9".
6'9". All right, that's 6'9".
All right, Tupac Westside sent through $5 and said, also heard about the Thibault and Kaluma signings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The good moves just keep coming. And get back to work, Ron. Vacation's over.
You on vacation or you in
So-
jail?
It's always a vacation in paradise.
Ron just gonna show back up to work. Don't tell nobody nothing. Don't say where you been at. Don't just.
He
just
told
walk into
us
practice
Ticket TV bailed
"Here
him
we
out.
go." And Ticket had to get him out of jail. Sound like it was
Damn.
wild. Ron.
Shout out
Sound like it was
Ticket. And also, too, shout out Dame. Dame picked up my phone call.
wild. Okay.
It's a good guy. That's a good guy. All right. Tristan sent through $6.99 and said, Ron, as the king of Zero Fan Club on PC, what's your favorite Russ game ever? Funny that he sent this. He sent this earlier in the show before I even had to do what I had to do for Russ because you know how you guys like to mucky up the water when it comes to Russ. But
no, we just know how you are when it comes to Russ. So stop the bullshit, Ron.
favorite Russ game though, the easy pick is the 2020 game. But I'm gonna go with the game where he hit that game winner on Denver. I think he had like 60 and 20 or something like that. I don't know, 60 and 15, whatever it was. But the game where he went crazy against Denver and then hit that game winner.
That was in 20.
It's funny
I think
that you
was in
bring up
20
Denver because I remember a certain, Russell Westbrook Denver connection, which is also my favorite Russell Westbrook moment of his career.
What?
Blowing a fast break layup and then fouling a 3-point shooter.
Oh, yeah, of course.
My hater agenda was on that day. Absolutely.
Great.
Every article I ever wrote about Russell Westbrook came true that day.
Yep. Another player, Scotty Barnes, will never touch. But
Whoop
Gang
his ass.
Rebound sent through
Whoop his
$4.99 and said, we need a top 10 all-time ranking without relative to era. Chill. What do you think of Stockton versus Curry one-on-one?
Oh
I
no.
think Curry would handle him one-on-one.
Okay.
I think Curry would handle him. I mean, I don't think that there's anything that we need to discuss here. Curry one-on-one, I think he would be better than John Stockton.
How would a top 10 without relative to era work?
How
just
did you
don't-
dominate your era? Wait, that is
Is it-
relative to era. Shit.
No, this super chat is based. This super chat is based on you just being a basketball player. That's why he brought up one-on-one. So top 10 players, top 10 basketball players. We ain't talking about eras. That's what he's talking about. Dudes who play who are the best 10 basketball players.
But basketball is competition, and you adjust to what you play against. You adjust to the rules of your era. That's what I'm saying. The entire episode, you adjust the rules, the play style, the teams you face. So if you got a behemoth like Shaquille O'Neal, very likely you're gonna have a couple 7-footers on your roster that are big bodies that can handle that,
Fact.
right? So you build your game in the offseason to deal with the rules. So if, I don't know, in 1982, Larry Bird was told, hey, next year we're gonna be taking 43s. Larry Bird be like, great. I'm really happy about that. I'll love to take 13 threes a game. Like, why do people act like these players are stupid? Like, they would just be like, oh, they're taking 43s. I guess I should just take 5 threes. What? That's not how it would work.
Yeah.
Just saying.
All right, Brody McLean sent through $5 and said, how we feeling about the Lakers now? They are improving their depth, and dare I say, they'll be a good defensive team?
Because of Matisse
Would they be?
Thybulle?
With Diaw, Walker Kessler guarding the rim. You got Sexton coming off the bench as a ball hawk and a point of attack defender. I don't think they're going to be terrible defensively. I don't. I don't think they're going to be that bad.
I'm interested to see.
What about in the
I'm
games
curious.
that he misses? Walker Kessler misses. Will they
Yeah,
be terrible
that's
in
gonna
those
be-
games?
Yes, that's going to be a problem. Yes,
Okay.
it's going to be a huge problem. Huge problem because that rebounding, that rim protection, and that paint presence. Yeah, like who is their backup 5? Mamu? I don't love that. As a defender, I love Mamu. I love Mamu as a player, but as a defender, yeah, I'm good.
They picked up somebody at the backup 5. I can't remember who
Mamu.
it was though. Nah,
I
because
mean, he's not a
Mamu's really a
5.
4.
Yeah.
He's really like a 3-4, but okay, yeah. And also, like, if Colin Sexton is part of your defensive identity, needless to say, Cho, you are fucked. Like, pardon my French, you are messed up if that is the dude anchoring your point of attack defense. He's not a good defender.
I don't think he's a bad defender.
He's
to be honest.
pesky occasionally, but he's not productive at all.
At all as a defender?
He's, in my opinion, he's probably like 30th percentile among guards.
Sheesh, that's at the bottom of the league.
Easily. And guards already produce less value defensively than wings and bigs. He's pretty bad. I don't think he's a good defender. I think Quentin Grimes is okay. I think Mamu's okay, but like Colin Sexton, this is an offensive addition.
Yeah, they got Kevon Looney. I knew that they got a backup big.
Okay. So you got to
Kevon's smart. Kevon is really
and can rebound and can stop
and
players.
He's got championship pedigree.
Yes.
And they still got Jackson, right? Jackson Hayes.
He's still over there. I don't think they lost him. No. I think he was under contract one more year, or maybe they might have lost him this year.
He might have got moved though, but I don't. Let me see.
I'll tell you right now, Ron.
Jackson
he is currently.
Hayes.
Yeah, he's still under contract. It's a team option.
He's with the Jazz.
He's with the Utah Jazz. Joe. He signed.
He was in that trade.
Was he in that trade? He signed a 2-year deal with the Jazz, independent.
Because they didn't pick up that. They didn't pick
so
up that
2
team
years,
option.
$12 million. Which, in my opinion, humbly, that's a massive overpay for Jackson Hayes. But sure.
Shout out Jackson, man. But all right, the King's Court podcast sent through $4.99 and said Mars be frying pin.
Euro. I disagree, simply put, but sure. Chat gonna feel the way they want to feel.
All right, shout out to Mark Henry for becoming a member. Salute to you. The next super chat that I got is from I Take No Kobe Slander. Said, I would love to see Prime D Rose versus Allen Iverson or Rose versus Westbrook.
You got to see Rose versus Westbrook.
Didn't we see Rose versus Westbrook? Yes, we did. We did.
Would have let us see it for longer, though, man.
Yeah, we got robbed of that.
I'm surprised nobody said Kobe versus Michael in their prime. That really would have been cinema. Instead of Clyde Drexler versus Jordan, you could have had Kobe Bryant versus Michael Jordan. I think that would have been very cool.
Yeah,
especially
by the time we saw it, we never got to see anything close to coinciding, right? Like by the time Kobe was even approaching anything that we considered his prime, Jordan was gone. The closest thing we probably saw was like 98 in the All-Star game. And that's not really even close, but like it was fun. It was really fun to watch it.
Yeah.
All right, I got a super chat from Nims Gassed Up. Nim said also, Ron, in that same Russ game, he beat the single season triple-double record and capped it off with that game winner. He broke it on a pass to Samaj Christian. Never forget when.
It's the 2020 game for me. That was right after Nipsey Hussle ended up getting killed, and then Russ goes 20 and 20. That's ridiculous that he did that. That was crazy. I was bugging out that he did that.
R.I.P. Nip, like how Russ said. Real ones know what that 2020 stands for.
Mm-hmm.
And also, shout out to Samaj Christian, too. Mm-hmm. Shout out my dog, Samaj. Teddy Hart sent through $5 and said, KD, the only player that can give you a quiet 50.
No, he can't. Ain't nothing quiet about this 50. Nah, hell no.
No, I get what he means.
I know what he's talking about, but nah. KD buckets is loud.
Is he the only player that can do that, though? I feel like there's other players who can give you a quiet 50.
I think Ray Allen could give you a quiet 50.
I think Kareem can give you a quiet 50.
Because you're looking at that jump hook. I think Duncan can give you a quiet 50.
Tim Duncan for sure.
Yes.
SGA kind of. SGA scoring don't really be all that loud. It just be
Jokic.
He's just Jokic for sure.
The reason why Jokic doesn't work because Jokic will give you 50 and it'll be like 15 assists and 18 rebounds with that shit. So it ain't quiet.
Right. So but the 50 points is quiet because here's how I gauge quiet. I think you have 30. I look up at the Jumbotron and it says you got 52.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? How did he get to 50? Because I swear it looks like he got 30. Some people very loud with their buckets, though. Jerry Stackhouse was very loud with his buckets.
He was.
Allen Iverson very loud with his buckets. I'm trying to think like who's quiet. I think
Leonard.
we Kawhi is very quiet, yeah, for sure.
Leonard.
He also doesn't do a lot of that, rah
Cool.
pumping
Yeah.
him up.
Kawhi's got louder though as he's like over these last couple of years, because now he's starting to get a little more tween in him and stuff like that. Like these last couple of years, Kawhi, like his buckets are,
You're
they
getting louder
yeah.
for sure.
I know last year Kawhi's buckets was loud. It wasn't it wasn't the 18
OG
Kawhi.
Anunoby around, like
that was crazy.
like a top. Sheesh, that ain't easy to do.
I don't know. It'll probably get quiet though this next year, probably
because it's going to be in the north and you're not going to be paying attention. I got you. I know what you're saying.
Thank you. Pimp named Slickback sent through $9.99 and said, Rich Paul said recently he advises his guys to be role players first, and I really agree with him. I think guys like Kuminga or Cam Thomas really could have taken that advice.
Yes, fit in with the group. Get to that second contract. When you get to that second contract, then we can start talking about you really doing work. Yeah,
that's the Kawhi blueprint. Learn how to shoot, learn how to defend, and now we can figure out how to create.
Yes, get to that second contract.
These guys got no patience.
Then come to find out, Penn, oh shit, he can score? Wow, I didn't know you were a defender like that. Yeah.
Chill. When you think like when we look, I hope Jonathan Kuminga turns around his career. But this might be a case where we look back on this 10 years from now and talk about a guy who cost himself about $250 million in his career, because really he's getting bad advice. Whoever the hell is advising him. I remember a quote, chill, this is not a joke. 2 years ago, Jonathan Kuminga, this is a quote. I really think I should be paid what Cade Cunningham and Scotty Barnes are paid.
I did hear that too.
Jesus Christ. This is some bad advice.
Yeah.
You getting advice from crackheads. You need to fire those crackheads and get better representation and get people to give you a dose of reality on where you actually are as a basketball player. Like, sheesh, man.
I don't hate that, Ron. I don't.
All right. LFC 226 sent through $4.99 and said, Mars, how do you think Wemby would do versus Prime Shaq?
Mars not here.
Yeah, Mars is not here. I think that Shaq would struggle with Wemby dragging him out away from the basket, but I think he would destroy him in the paint. I think he'd get him in foul trouble early. I think he would cause a lot of mismatch problems with him, especially on the offensive glass. Like, Wemby has never had to deal with anybody that strong and that physical, and I think that would be a huge problem for Wemby. Huge.
I also think he would take that matchup very personally.
Yes, he would.
Shaq would?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wemby better than you.
Also,
Shaq,
like the lower
Shaq
center
still
gravity.
gotta deal with. Yeah, Shaq gonna eat, but Wemby gonna eat too.
Respectfully to Victor Wembanyama, he can't do shit with Shaq because he's gonna get into his body, and he's like probably gonna be in the third row by the time Shaq makes his second move. Yeah. It's not like.
I'm just making sure that I'm looking for, like, I got the ball on the wing. Shaq is running the floor, and I know exactly what Shaq is doing. He's putting his forearm in Wemby's chest, and he's getting big in the paint, and I'm going right to him every trip. I'm not wasting any time.
I feel like of all the players that I've ever seen live, chill, they're almost always surprisingly large, right? You always kind of surprised about how large NBA players are. I've never been as surprised as I was watching 2004 Shaq. It was, quite frankly, the craziest shit I've ever seen. It's like the guy walked in front of me and I thought he was like not a real human being.
I would say that to people all the time when we was out, Ron. Like, we'd be in restaurants, I'd be like, he a lot bigger than what you think he is, ain't he? They'd be like, holy shit. Like, yeah.
Like he blocks people when he walks past people. Like, he blocks two people while he walks past people. And you actually start to have a little bit of sympathy and empathy for an Antonio Davis who has to work with him, and you'd be like, what the hell are you supposed to do with this guy? He's like, when I saw him in person, I thought this guy's like a solar eclipse of a human being. It's crazy.
That big.
All right. Shout out to J-Man for joining up as a YouTube member. My man J-Man 3812. Thanks for pulling up. We are still doing our members only streams. They are still on Thursdays and Sundays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you are a member, pull up. If you are an all-star, come on stage. And if you're a Hall of Famer, I don't really got to tell you what to do. You already know what to do. Salute to our Hall of Famers, man. Simply Ghostly or Simply Ghosty has been a member for 6 months and said, I just want to say all love to the PC fam. Appreciate all the content y'all provide. Dub off season. I'll be one of the next Hall of Fame members. Watch out.
All right.
Nope.
Shout out to Ghostly, man. Appreciate you for tapping in.
Yes, sir.
Cultured Bandit sent through a members chat and said, why we got to call people out their name when it comes to having different opinions? It's basketball, not war.
I mean, sometimes it feels like war.
This is war. I don't know what culture talking about. Hey, when we put on these headphones to get in front of this mic, it's 100% war.
Every time I come in here, I'm ready.
Yeah, you better be. You might walk into an uppercut. You never know, man.
Like, oh, see where that come from.
Clint K, this is a good one right here. Said T-Mac versus PG.
Me, T-Mac.
I'll take Tracy McGrady too. Yep.
I got T-Mac, but I don't. He might be asking who's better. I don't think he's really asking. I think he's just asking, like, is that a matchup we would like to see?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, in that matchup, I'm taking Tracy McGrady. Yeah.
I'm just more so talking about, like, you know, just due to the, like, with the title of the episode, stars we love to see play in the same era. I would love to see them two match up 3 to 4 times a year.
I'm going to introduce this just because this was kind of my introduction to PC like 2.5 years ago. Arvydas Sabonis in his absolute prime versus Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I would love to see those two 7'3" guys go up against each other. It would be amazing. People would have a lot more respect for Sabonis.
Too. Sabonis Wemby would be fine.
Respectfully to Victor Wembanyama, he don't want that. Sabonis is destroying him.
I disagree, but all right.
What?
All right.
Left block, right block defense. What are you talking about? The offense, like there's a one guy that Wemby's great advantage over guys his size. He don't have that advantage over Sabonis. Sabonis is insanely long. Like I don't think we ever measured Arvydas Sabonis' wingspan, but I'm pretty sure
he's 7'3". I didn't know he was that big. I did not know he was that big.
7'3" was probably like a 7'6", 7'7" wingspan, bro. And before all the Achilles injuries and all the knee injuries and all that shit, like we're talking about a guy who is very light on his feet, breaking backboards.
Actually, I would love to see that, Penn. I'd love to see that version of Sabonis against Shaq. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he might have been better capable of handling Shaq when he got a little heavier, because quite frankly, young Sabonis was not the strongest of Sabonises, but he was a lot more fluid. And I feel like, you know, everything you said about like how Shaq struggled against stretch bigs, Arvydas Sabonis was a great stretch big.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my man Teddy Hart came through with another $50. Shout out my dog Teddy Hart. Teddy Hart said, chill. Doc having more longevity than Larry Bird is a verifiable fact.
No, it isn't.
I said their resumes are nearly identical, not their careers.
No,
70s Kareem is the GOAT. I don't negate that. That doesn't negate that Doc was top 2 at worst in the 70s, just like Larry Bird was in the 80s. Doc isn't inferior to Larry Bird.
But Bird wasn't top 2. He was the best player in the league. That's the difference.
For how long, Chill? For how long was he the best player in the league?
I think Bird became the best player in the league in 83, 84, and I think he stayed that until 88. 87.
Okay.
87. From 80. I can't say that about Doc. Doc showed up in 76.
Who was the best player in 82, 83?
I mean, we can have a conversation about
Kareem?
Oh, no, it was Moses.
Moses. Okay.
Yeah, it was Moses.
Okay.
All right, the next members chat is from I Am Justin Miller. Said MAGA Pen is acting extra zesty still after getting cooked at the start. Leave it alone. Let it go. Mars cooked you. Move on, bro. It ain't that deep.
To borrow a term that I've heard a lot on this platform, get off your fucking knees.
Oh,
get off your knees. Wasting your one member chat every single month. Like he's not gonna let you hit, bro. Relax.
Damn.
Shit.
Maybe he will. I don't know. You never know. Icarus 2003 sent through a members chat and said, yo, Mars, why are you against Giannis practicing threes? Are any of you guys against it?
We had a conversation yesterday about Giannis Like if we gave Giannis this superpower, him being able to shoot the three. I don't think Mars had a problem with Giannis shooting the three. It was Shaq who he didn't want to shoot the three. So, yeah.
At the Buzzer Sports, my man John D chimed in with the members chat and said KD frying his bum ass all over the
Eat
court.
it, hater. Eat it, hater. Eat it, hater.
Bro.
I stand with you. Whatever what he just said. Adam West the Bandit sent through a members chat and said Dave DeBichiere versus Kwame Brown would feed families.
Man, break. That's the dude who talks about Steve Francis. Troll alert. Woo, 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 woo. Troll alert. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
D9 the One came through with a members chat and said, give me Brandon Bass versus David West. He trolling with this too?
Yeah.
But I actually would love to see
I
that.
like David West. I did. I
like Brandon Bass for real.
Mm-hmm. I did like that.
So that'd be a good ass matchup. Spanish Jose sent through a members chat and said 99 to 2005 Stephon Marbury frying these wing defenders.
Which wing defenders?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah. Between defenders.
I just know Marbury frying. Most wing defenders are getting fried by Marbury.
Mm.
And Steph was awesome.
Yeah.
Does Baron Davis get enough love on this platform? I
No.
feel like I don't hear about
Yes,
him.
he does.
enough.
Ox talk about
No,
Baron
that's
Davis,
it.
B. Diddy all the time. Yes, he does.
Baron Davis was better than Stephon Marbury too.
Mm.
B. Diddy
I
was
don't know
like
if
that.
I don't even know if I'm mad at that, bro. Like Baron Davis was the Shaquille O'Neal of point guards. Physical, bro. Oh my god.
Baron
Like
Davis
if
was
you
monster.
guard him, if you're a point guard who got to guard Baron Davis, you better bring Icy Hot, Bengay, all of it to the because that dude is gonna put you in a body bag physically. Just rebounding the penetration, the defense. My God, like Baron Davis was sick. It was not nearly as long as I would have liked it to be, but like early Baron Davis in Charlotte, that dude got up like crazy hops. And he had like a very compact game, very intelligent, crafty scorer, you know. Like I just, you know, he didn't win enough, but like very good basketball player.
Yep.
All right, MTHJ 301 sent through $5 and said Bleacher Report top 10 defenders list. Bill Russell, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Hakeem Olajuwon, Bill Walton, Dikembe Mutombo.
Ben Wallace, Ron. Ben Wallace.
Oh, my bad. Ben Wallace, Dikembe Mutombo, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, and David Robinson at 11. Thoughts?
No.
Who's missing and who's the dish? Like what's wrong with it?
So we got Bill. So we got Russell, Duncan, Garnett.
These are all great defenders.
I think they are all great defenders.
Is this in order?
David Robinson was a better defender than Draymond Green. So,
Is this in
Okay.
order? I think this is in order.
yeah, I think Draymond
Russell,
Green. I think David
Duncan,
Robinson was a better defender than Draymond Green.
Can we make an argument for Rodman over Ben Wallace?
Yes, I can do
I-
that. I think Rodman.
You know who's
is
missing
top
from this? Ron Artest. I think Ron Artest belongs on this list.
three. Is Ron is Meta World a better defender than Bruce Bowen?
Yes,
Okay, all right.
I think so. I think in terms of utility, if you consider how we play today, his ability to guard 3 to 4 positions would be a cheat code. Like this is a legit 250-pound man, Joe.
Yeah, he was 6'8", legit too. I don't know if I hate. I was just bringing it to the table just to see where you got, just to check your temperature. But yes, I could get with that. Sure.
All right, y'all. The last members chat that we got is from Zigsaw Puzzle. Zigsaw said, "Hey, Ron, can you explain Kawhi Lemon to me?"
That's easy.
Yeah, that's real easy.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that's barely available. You know, that guy that be low
5 games
maintenance.
played last year.
A beautiful car that doesn't run.
How much did your favorite player play last year, Ron?
Hey, my
Tyrese
favorite,
Halliburton didn't play.
my favorite player.
Trey Young was
played,
on the IR all year. You know, Kawhi Leonard played more games than Tyrese Halliburton plus Jason Tatum plus. So y'all can take the L's.
Players with significant injuries that missed the whole season, just like Kawhi has multiple times. Right.
But by the way,
right. You know the guy that's been in the league for over 10 years. But
Kawhi's played more games last year than Trey Young plus Tyrese Halliburton plus Jason Tatum. Ironically, so all
guys with season-ending injuries,
and he has
which Kawhi Leonard has
MVPs,
had multiple times. By the way,
all of them combined.
No. We're talking about the lemon, which Kawhi Leonard has had multiple times. By the way, Penn, multiple.
Yeah,
gives you
that boy Kawhi Lemon. Hey, when you need him the most, he gonna get injured. And on top of that, since you want to talk about 65 games and all of that, Kawhi Leonard has played over 65 games in his entire carear 4 times.
He's been in the league since 2011.
It's funny that you mentioned like when you need him the most, because I got to tell you, man, I as a fan of Kawhi Leonard, as a fan who has been a fan of a team that Kawhi Leonard was on, man, I really needed him against Milwaukee. And he showed up. Man, I really needed him when Fred VanVleet was shooting 5% from the field against the Sixers. And, he showed up. And, man, I really needed him in the finals when he was already hurt. But he showed up. Yeah. And I really need him in 2026. And guess what? He showed up to Kyle Lowry's press conference. So, Kawhi Lemon.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world, y'all know what time it is when y'all see us. It is that time. It is time for us to bounce. It was great to see you guys today. We will see you guys back here tomorrow, same bat time, same bat station. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. Well, last time you talked to your mother, call your mother. We'll talk to you guys soon. But until then, take it light.